Greetings, clubbers. We indeed. Hello and hello, everyone, and welcome to Saturday Night Star Trek on Clobbering Times. Clobbering Times, by the way, issue number 400 on YouTube, issue number 100, 1100 overall, 1100 overall. A landmark presentation, and what better night to do a Saturday Night Star Trek episode? Saturday Star Trek 81, by the way.
Dun, 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 dun.
So all kind of numbers going on right there. Yes, indeediousness. We are here. So yes, indeed, folks. 400 on YouTube now. Wow, weird.
And boss man, right off the hop, I thought you should know that our
Should be
wonderful
guessable.
friend Eric K, our fabulous bronze wrencher, has left a gift for you, and I have it in your starred tab.
I'm on it. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, Eric K. The great Eric K has a $5 super chat. Just listening tonight. Massive headache and super sore. Not feeling well. Oh, man, I'm sorry, buddy. Goodness. I hope you get better. Hope you feel better. Hope we can help with that a little bit, man. And just
Yeah. I hate it when you're not feeling well. You know I love you very much.
yeah,
I hope
buddy.
you made yourself a nice dinner. You're a great cook. You should get a nice cold cloth. Run a nice cold cloth under the sink and wring it out really well, and just wipe the back of your neck and wipe your forehead, and then rinse it out again, and go and lay down and just put it over your eyes and your forehead. Just the fluffiest washcloth you can find, and get it as cold as you can possibly get it. My neurologist, I have migraine headaches. My neurologist recommended that to me, and it works quite well. But terrible headache is an awful thing, and I hate that you're in pain. And I know you have some more complex medical issues going on, and maintaining your privacy, but saying that I love you and that I'm very concerned, and that I just want you to go and relax and enjoy the show. And please find the fluffiest, nicest washcloth you can and get it really cold, and do that little procedure, please. It would make me feel a lot better. I love you, honey. Sending soft hugs.
Well, yeah, be safe, be well, buddy, and I hope you feel much better soon, man. So, well, great to be here with you all. Excuse me, with you all here tonight. I'm so happy that we are now getting underway with Deep Space Nine. It has been it was a lot of fun last week. Thank you to everyone who showed up last week, and I hope we will have as much fun this week. We're going to certainly try.
Yes, we are. Dun, 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 dun.
Yes, indeedishness. In fact, let us go ahead and we'll go a show note or two, and then we will get started. Then we'll do our hellos and get started.
Let's do it.
Yes, indeed. Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. I will have the great J-Man on with me. We will do another classic, a Clobby's classic comic review. Batman number 321. Been looking forward to this. Fucking dreadful birthday, Dear Joker, by Len Wein, Walt Simonson, and Dick Giordano. Looking forward to that. To the great J-Man, and of course, the rest of the week I'll just do my usual, Clubhouse and Wildcard Wednesday. Maybe hang out with the great.
It's gonna be a blast.
Go on the great Midnight Edge Tuesday night if I can. Oh, and Wednesday night. Wednesday night, the great Stone Loki will be bringing back the old comic book panel show.
Ooh.
And I'll be joining him 7 p.m. Central on Wednesday nights. He and my buddy. So it's not the round table. It's going to be a little bit different, but the 24/7 will be joining us. And so, yeah, that'll be back. That'll be, of course, I'll go right from that to my Wildcard Wednesday show. So,
it's going to be great.
A lot of streaming, yeah, absolutely.
Lots of fun. Stay tuned, folks. So don't forget to hit your subscribe button. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. That notification bell will tell the algorithm to send you notifications to come and watch Clobby's channel and to come and watch Clobby's shows. So don't forget to do that. And, if you're out there on the socials tonight and you're feeling frisky, would you mind sharing this URL and inviting maybe a friend or two to come and join us this evening? I sure would appreciate that. I would love to grow Clobby's little virtual comic book shop. I love him very much, and I'd like the more the merrier. You know what I mean? Thanks, everyone.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, and also don't forget tomorrow night on the our great chief engineer, who's probably not here at the moment. He'll be here later. Mark D with the C. He'll have a Sunday night geekery, 10 p.m. Eastern time there. So now let us start saying our hellos to our wonderful friends who are joining us here in the chat. First of all, before we do that, I will shout out to anyone who is either lurking and cannot manifest themselves in the chat. Oh, thank you, Janet. You're too kind. Or if someone catching this on a rerun, quote unquote, or a rewatch or whatever one you want to call it here on YouTube. Thank you. We don't thank you all enough, and I should acknowledge you more. I'm trying to make a habit of it. I did it for the longest time, and I was derelict in my responsibilities as a host for that. But I really do appreciate all of you who watch the show later, or if you lurk and you just can't, you don't feel like saying it, because you're definitely under no obligation to say anything in the chat. We love those who chat, but we don't know. We obviously, if you don't do that, we don't know who you are. But we love you. Love that you're listening, and if you've been listening for a while, thank you so much. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And we shout out those who do pop in to say something in the chat. So I think it's good to shout you guys out too.
Yeah, thank you for letting us into your homes, on your televisions, on your laptops, on your computers, in your pockets, wherever you may be. If you're watching the show or if you're listening to it like an old time radio hour, we appreciate you so much. I'd like to shout out two people specifically who are not able to be here because of work, but they are a part of our crew. Two of our friends, good friends, big supporters of this show, who are highly engaged. They are full crew members, and that is Eric O'Sullivan, my friend who is a chef. He has to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and start a big kitchen. There's a huge staff there. He has to cook a lot of food for a lot of people. So shout out to Eric O'Sullivan.
Eric.
I also want to shout out my very good friend. He's been with us here since the beginning, a loyal friend and a loyal crewman, and that is
Yes, indeed.
Love you. Don't work too hard tonight, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely, yes. And now let's say hellos to our wonderful friends who are here with us tonight. The great LT, our Chief of Security, Lord Doth, Brother Avon lives, and long live the Legion, my buddy.
Ditto. Plus Mrs. LT. And
hello to the lovely Mrs. LT, the better half. I did something to my screen. Oh, what'd I do? I hit a button.
No.
Oh no! I hit something on my stupid keyboard.
Baby, come back.
Indeedishness. So here with us tonight in the chat is, of course, Shooter 8323. Hello there, Shooter. Welcome. I hope you're doing well. Michael Beacom and his wonderful wife Cassandra. He said they're probably out right now, but they're celebrating their anniversary. I want to say I think it was 36th. I'd have to go back and check and see what he said. If you're hearing us, Michael, or if you catch it later, happy anniversary to you too. I'm not sure which anniversary he said it was because I lost it.
I love the Beacoms. Michael Beacom is so intelligent and caring, and he's such a wonderful person to be around, such a great conversationalist. And I love his wife. She's also a great conversationalist, a great part of our crew. So everyone in the chat, would you all do me a huge favor? The Beacoms may watch this later. It's pretty likely that they will. Would you do me a favor and maybe pop a bottle of champagne or a noisemaker or some type of emoticon or some type of icon into the chat for them, or even a happy anniversary?
Right.
Happy anniversary, Michael Beacom and Cassandra Beacom.
Yes, happy anniversary to you both. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Gwagnar! Hey, good to see you. Joe's Atmosphere. Hello there, dude. I finally did see your DM. I don't look at my Twitter DMs as much lately. It takes me a while to see them sometimes, but I did see it, buddy. Thank you though, because I know you mentioned that earlier in the chat, and wanted to let you know that I didn't miss it. The lovely Janet from another planet. I haven't seen you in a while there, Janet. I hope you're doing well. It is absolutely enchanting to see you, my dear.
Interplanet Janet. She's a galaxy girl.
Yes. The great Canadian wrench and great. I think he's an officer. I think he is. I'm going to put him on the bridge crew. He is the master. I don't know. He's our public relations master. I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Can we make him a Commodore? Can he just
He's a
like
Commodore, I
swoop
guess.
in, or can we make him like a?
No one can outrank me, so I have not. Can't have
Okay,
a
so
Commodore, but
what could we do here? What we have to we could we make him some type of liaison? Uh, uh,
yeah,
he's got to be
he could be the
something.
science officer
Yeah, we have to we have to
because we
think
don't
of
have a
something
science
really
officer
good.
yet, do we? So yeah. I don't know, but
Mm.
he's an officer one way. Or he's
We got to figure it
I
out.
guess he's he might, I don't know. Well,
How
he's,
about
he might be
ambassador? Can
could
he
be our
be
ambassador.
ambassador?
Would that put him a role on the ship though? But I don't know. He's in the crew. That's all
I
he
don't
is.
know. You're a
He
part of
is
the crew, honey.
he's
I
a, yeah
love
he's
you.
he is a lieutenant for sure.
Anyway, I'm sending millions of kisses for your entire face because I love you, Chris Persia.
Chris
You know
Persia,
this.
thank you so much for all you do there, Chris. And by the way, man, I wish I had that. Wish I knew how to make that logo, the Clobberin Times logo he makes, man. I'd love to have that thing to use it. Anyway,
He's got the software to do it. He's got the software, and he's also got the imagination and the talent to do it. And you really need both of those things. That software is quite expensive, Clobby, and that's why I'm so appreciative of him using his time and his talent to do that. I love Chris.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that, dude. J-Man Buddy,
Jason
is here. He's going to be joining me Monday night. Good to see you there, J-Man.
I saw your weird slush that you showed Andrew and I. Did you see that tweet where I tweeted you back? Andrew's like, WTF, only in long form. Is Jay drinking?
You get no complaints from me, buddy. If you're enjoying it, I think it's cool. But I not that I would drink it, but you know, all I drink is sweet tea.
It was a green drink. It was green, and it had big, yucky, black tadpole-looking things in it.
Oh my god!
But it was green.
I saw it. Yeah, dude. Seriously, man. He's my kind of guy. He's adventurous. J-Man is a great friend. We love J-Man. Good to see you. I can't wait to see you tomorrow Monday night, buddy. Thank you, Chris. You don't have to go to that kind of trouble, buddy. I do love it, though. I think it's fantastic.
Oh my goodness. I can't believe that he just said that. Don't worry, Clobby. I'll rework the logo and send it to you. Chris, I love you.
Do not go to any trouble. Don't go to any trouble, dude. But I mean, appreciate you. He said it's jelly, so that's not so bad.
Oh, it's jelly. Okay. All right.
Phantom Outsider was a big man.
Is a man. He's a man. He is a man.
The song calls for was. I mean, you know, but I'm not going to judge him whether he wants to be one or not. I don't tell people how to identify in this world anymore. D. Bud Martin, man of Iron, had a great time hanging out with you on Nick's show last night. D. Bud, always a pleasure, brother. Reviewing on Nick's Comic Shop show last night, reviewing Nova. A lot of fun, man.
Nice to see you. You have been missed. I'm glad you're feeling better because, you know, we missed you around here, sweetheart.
Next up, who is he? I don't know. He's an enigma of a bear. Enigmatic drop bear. What's up, buddy?
He's the erudite bear. He's going to be dropping some mics tonight. Just brilliant, well-wrought comments that just stir the imagination and stir the conversation here towards some very cerebral pursuits and just overall friendliness and a good time. So Enigmatic Drop Bear is here. It's so good to see you. Let's do it!
Edishness Raymond and Sandra are both here tonight. Hello, Dorothy and Lisianios. Good to see you.
King Dolphin TV.
King Dolphin TV in color. That's right. Quinn Martin production. Wah, wah, wah. Oh, sorry, I was thinking of Barnaby Jones. Good to see you there, my Feliciano friends. Wendy Webb, the lovely Wendy Webb is here. I hope Jimmy is doing well. It's good to see you. Thank you for being here.
I just want you to know that I appreciate that you admitted not doing your homework. However, you are a very good student. So I'm going to pretend like you did do your homework. I'm not even going to take marks off. And you can turn your work in at the end of class.
Fair enough. It's a fair
Good evening, Wendy Webb. And Jimmy.
Indeedishness. JT Kirk, buddy, good to see you.
Love you. Nice to see you, honey. Glad you're here.
Indeedishness. And the aforementioned great Eric K. Bronze Renter, hope you feel better, buddy. Just kick back. Don't do anything.
Yep.
Dad Man's walking. And of course, a shout out to his great Mrs. Dadman and the clan there. Hope you're doing well, buddy.
Yeah. Dadman and the Dadman clan.
Yeah, that Anaxamanda Bear. Hello. Welcome.
You're
Good to see you, my friend.
Anaxamanda Bear.
a Polynese minion, and
the pepperoni, the pepperoni.
Well,
Love
oh
it.
my goodness. Pleasant Valley Picker, hey,
Hello, BC.
hey there. Hungry for that Kira sassiness and strut. Hubba hubba. He is the great. I love his different names every time. He's got a great one every time. I
Yeah.
love, well, who doesn't love that Kira sassiness? And the great Hungry Boy. Good to see you there, brother.
Yep. Very, very talented, fine artist. He's a wonderful painter. He does comics. He's a fine arts guru. And I call him Brain Boy in private. Actually, I call him Brain Man. But I love him so much, and he always has something intelligent and insightful to say, and always something great added to the conversation when it comes to Hungry Boy. Also, the official artist of my paperback book. So great to have Hungry Boy here. I love you very much, and looking forward to spending time with you this evening.
He's the official artist of Clobbering Times. Even if he doesn't want to be, I'm naming him that. He is the artist of all.
Well, because he made the Clubboni. From me saying it just one time, he figured out what it was. It was amazing.
Indeed. Terrell72, hey there, my friend. So great to see you. Hey, Pat ass buddy, what's up, man? I hope you're doing well. Hope you're feeling better, bro. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Good to see you.
I'm missing saying hello to some people because I'm reading all of your wonderful comments and I'm waving hello to all of you. And Wolfie,
hey, buddy. Snail Messiah, my good friend from way all out there. The Danish friend, I believe.
Yes.
Good to see you, Snail. Thank you for being here.
I said, Dave Bob's here.
Well, I'm getting there. I'll get to them all. I'll jump the gun on me now. I see. Dave Bob, what's up? Now that he's already jumped the gun, I may as well just say, hey, Dave Bob. You should be sorry. Just kidding. Sorry. Captain James T. Skywalker. Hey.
Hello.
Your old toys. Well, welcome. Good to see you again.
Hey.
Thanks for popping in.
Thank you for dropping in.
I guess that covers us for now.
Captain Time Lord
there
Spock.
We go. There you go. You're right. Captain Time Lord Spock.
And James Caserta.
And
JC in the house.
Hey there, James. Good to see you. And Captain Time Lord Spock, what is up in your time zone, sir? Okay. Well, now I think we're up to speed. Anyone else pops in, of course, we acknowledge them when the opportunity arises. We will now get on to our program for the evening. Captain Caveman! Yes, I mean, Dave Bob made me say it.
Hi, Jeff Morris. Welcome.
Hello there. And some people, if you're new to the show, if someone says, why do they spend so long saying hellos and acknowledging people and all that kind of stuff? Why do you spend so much time on it and get on with it? We've become such a good, fellowship here and have we've been doing this now for well over a year and a half. And, since January of 2021. And the show has become something that is very interactive with our entire chat. Now, again, obviously I say all the time, if there were 5,000 people in the chat, you can't do that. And I understand it's impossible, but there's enough of us now to do that. And we are the gang here. And it's just so without you guys, the show would not be as much fun. We would still have fun. If we were counting myself and one person, we would still have a lot of fun talking Trek. We love it that much. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But you guys definitely add to it and you bring so much to it. And we appreciate you. That's why we like having you a part of the show. So that's why we do that.
Totally agree. Yeah. And it's integral to the process here because when Clobby and I first got together and we were going to do this Star Trek show, what we wanted to do was to recreate hanging out in somebody's rumpus room and watching Star Trek and then, just shooting the breeze over it, right? Just shooting the bull. Or maybe you meet up with some friends at a con and you're in the commissary area or you're in the lobby and you're all talking about a new episode or someone's cosplay. We wanted to have that kind of an atmosphere. We wanted to bring Trekkies together in a relaxed atmosphere to talk about these episodes. And so, like the boss said, you are an incredibly important part of this conversation. conversation. This isn't a one-way conversation on this show. If you're new around here, you should know this is very much a conversation with everyone in the room. You know, the boss talks a bit about the episodes. I talk a bit about the episodes, and the chat goes up on the marquee, and we read everything they say with regard to the review. So yeah, it's by design, and it would be terrible to lose this magic. But we're going to do our best and try to adapt, no matter how big the room gets.
Okay, folks, we're going to start. We're going to get down to beeswax here. Here's what we're doing from, and I'll try to make because you don't know when someone new is going to pop in. And you want to make sure you cover things. If someone listens to you on a later, broadcast or whatever, if they download it and they're new here, we have decided. And we started, as I said, in January of 2021. We embarked upon this crazy journey that was it a good idea? I don't know, man. It seemed like a good idea at the time. To quote from one of the greatest movies ever, Magnificent Seven. We were going to review all of real Star Trek. What does that mean? Well, it means one thing. Everything from 1966 to 2005, the only legitimate Star Trek, anything with the Star Trek label on it after that is filth. It is not true Star Trek. It will never be acknowledged as true Star Trek around here. Only the series and films that contain real deal Trek will be reviewed here. All 735 segments. That's why we're the 735 Club. We've reviewed the original series. We've reviewed the animated series, the original crew films. We just got through reviewing Star Trek: The Next Generation and its films. And now, last week, we begun this journey, I guess leg 4 of the journey or whatever, reviewing Deep Space Nine. We're going to do it all, and after that we'll do Voyager, after that we'll do Enterprise, then we'll be done. So it's going to take quite a long time. We do 4 episodes, even doing 4 episodes per clip. It's going to take a bit, but we're going to make it happen, and we're doing that tonight. And what we usually do is we review we go from certain information, like tonight we'll just basically talk about the plots of the episodes, and then review them a little bit. So I will turn the floor over to number 1. And we will get started with our first episode of the evening.
Okay, so first I want to apologize. I have my window open, so you may hear cars driving by or dogs barking in the distance, but it is quite hot here. So I do apologize if anyone hears ambient noise. And yeah, the boss is right. The captain is correct. We usually have a text. And the crowd really likes that. I mean, the crew like it. The crew like hearing a book being read to them. And as we go through each iteration of Star Trek, they have they've listened to this book like an audiobook as we go through the episodes. Unfortunately, when it comes to DS9, there is an extraordinarily expensive and rare book out there. Now, Clobby got it for me, but we're having a bit of difficulty getting it to me on time here. So we don't have that book available, but I am going to be reading that wonderful book to you. Clobby bought it for me. I don't know how he managed to secure it. It's an extraordinarily rare and expensive book. But when it gets here, we shall read from that. It's nice because then we have vetted information, not just user-generated crap off the internet. And there's lots of that. And it's also nice to read a book together and know for sure what you're saying. So because we don't have that available tonight, we're going to be doing, as you can see, my lovely captain made a wonderful show poster. We're going to be covering Captive Pursuit, Dax, Q-less, and The Passenger. And I'm going to be reading from Wikipedia tonight. I do not have the book in hand, and so we're just going to use the plot as a launching off point. Now, I can read some of the production notes from Wikipedia, but a lot of it is, well, all of it is user-generated information. So a great deal of it is incorrect, or it's sort of a half-truth. So I hesitate to read from that. But all of that said...
You don't have to. It's up to you. So,
yeah, all of that said... you know, if we find ourselves with extra time, I will read the production notes, and then Clobby and I can clobber it, CLOBBERIN Times style by providing the accurate information. Of course, everyone knows, and if you don't know, Wikipedia, Memory Alpha, IMDb, this is all user-generated information. Anybody can input anything at any time. So that's why I hesitate to use it. So without further ado, should we get on to Captive Pursuit, boss? Our first
Let us do that. Our first
episode of the evening. Mm-hmm. It is season 1, episode 6. You may also see this as episode 5 on an international level. Of course, you're going to be seeing some of that pilot get split up into 2 episodes. So you might be seeing this as episode 5. Others may be seeing it as episode 6. We can't control that across all the different streaming platforms. So
it's story number 5.
Yeah. Exactly. And this was first broadcast on February 1st, 1993. And I'll be reading from plot on the Wikipedia page for Captive Pursuit, keeping copyright compliant. Let's do it! A damaged, unidentified vessel from the Gamma Quadrant docks at Deep Space Nine for repairs. Its reptilian pilot, identified only as Tosk, is the first known life form from the Gamma Quadrant to visit the station. Chief Miles O'Brien suspects Tosk is running from something due to evidence of weapons fire on his vessel. O'Brien befriends Tosk and tries to help him repair his ship. However, Tosk attempts to steal from the weapons locker and is put in a holding cell by Security Chief Odo. Uniformed aliens arrive through the wormhole, beam onto DS9, and start a phaser battle with a team led by Commander Benjamin Sisko. The aliens fight their way into the brig where Tosk is being held. Sisko, O'Brien, and Odo enter the room as one of the aliens expresses his disappointment in finding Tosk captured alive. Tosk, it transpires, is the alien Hunter's quarry. The Hunter commands Sisko to lower the force field and release Tosk, but Sisko refuses. They discuss the issue, and the Hunter agrees to place the wormhole out of bounds for future hunts. As much as he detests this practice, Sisko believes that under the Prime Directive, the law forbidding interfering with alien creatures, he must release Tosk to the aliens. After talking to the bartender Quark, O'Brien realizes that he can change the rules of the hunt before Tosk is taken away by the hunters. He lies to Odo and convinces him to release Tosk into his care, claiming it is Starfleet and not a Bajoran matter. O'Brien escorts the Hunter and Tosk to the airlock, but the chief has it rigged to overload, knocking out the Hunter, allowing O'Brien to help Tosk escape. In ops, Sisko is informed about the situation and tells Odo to pursue the duo at a leisurely pace, giving O'Brien time to help Tosk escape the station with the hunters in pursuit. Later, an angry Sisko reprimands O'Brien for his actions. The chief expresses his surprise at not being apprehended immediately by Odo. Sisko claims that he must have slipped up and smiles wryly after O'Brien has left his office. And that is the plot of Captive Pursuit, Season 1, Episode 5 or 6, depending upon what you're watching. It is prod code 406. And once again, this was first broadcast on February 1st, 1993. So what did you think of this episode, boss?
I love this episode. I absolutely have always loved it. And I think they really just hit on something. I just love the idea. I love the story. I love the character of Tosk. It's just a wonderful concept. Really, again, the friendship between, or the relationship, I guess I should say, between O'Brien and Tosk is first rate. It's really well done, really well handled and stuff. This is a very clever science fiction idea, in my opinion. This is a being that was bred for just this one thing. And and yet you feel for him. You don't understand why he keeps saying, I am Tosk. It's all this being knows. And the one shot when we finally see what his pursuers look like. Hey, Maddie's daddy, Steve Mitchell. What's up, buddy?
Hey, Steve.
Good to see you, bud. When we see that, when we find well, that is straight out of the original series, the way those aliens look.
Yep.
I thought that was hilarious. I mean, they really look
Oh,
crazy. Good night,
boss.
Dave Bob.
Oh,
Good
Dave
night,
Bob,
buddy.
you have to leave already. Good night, honey. Nice to see you.
Good to see
Mwah.
you, bro. Good to see you, man. I just found it again not only highly entertaining. I thought it was very clever, a great concept. These beings are bred to give a hunt to their masters. The stuff between Cisco and the alien, yeah, it was a great philosophical piece, and
Mhm.
yet we can't interfere. I found it to be very Roddenberry-ish. I think Roddenberry would he used to do that with where there were times that they didn't actually agree with what a civilization does, but they didn't interfere with them.
Mhm.
And I love that about the episode. What Cisco goes through, just kind of, he wishes he can help, but he kind of helps by, behind the scenes there. The whole thing, I just found it to be highly entertaining. I love Tosk. I love the character of Tosk, and yeah, I mean, just very, very much. Always liked it.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that this is a fabulous science fiction episode. It is so nice to be back in the warm embrace of a science fiction episode.
Yes.
And I think I think this is a great episode. I know that a lot of folks online, especially the newer fans, don't like this episode. They sort of make fun of it
Really?
and they say it's not a strong episode, but I like it for all the reasons you like it. And I also sort of take issue with their criticism of the episode and the way they go about criticizing it.
I haven't
So
heard any. I haven't heard any. What do they say?
just they say that it's a contrived plot, that they knew what was going to happen all along, that this is a well traveled idea, and they don't give it a very good rating. So,
Mm.
but I think that that's kind of crap. I
In
know with the writer.
1993, I'd never seen anything like this story particularly.
Yeah, I think finding an in Star Trek, I think when you find an alien that is being pursued or hunted for whatever reason, like a fox, like the English hunt foxes.
Yeah.
I think that that's familiar, but I think that
Well,
they
sure.
make a mistake by thinking that that's all this episode is, because this episode is so much more, and
Yes.
I think it's incredibly clever. I mean, let's be frank here. This is episode 5, and
Yep.
speaking not as like a person who's watching the show, but speaking as an author, I think that this was an incredibly clever way to introduce us to O'Brien, to show us his mettle, to show us the strength of his convictions, his character, his choices, his humor, his personality. It was a wonderful way to show us O'Brien. And that's what the authors are doing here. And I
Yes.
think they do a bang up job, and they do it in a science fiction way. And now remember, this show is primarily like a space opera. This is a space adventure, and it's got murder mystery and all these things. This isn't aiming to be hard science fiction like Gene Roddenberry Star Trek. So there's no Bible to adhere to, and yet here we have this wonderful, wonderful science fiction tale. It's great. I love it.
I love this episode. Notes?
Yes. So these are my notes and if you're new around here, I watch Star Trek at the beginning of every year on January 1st every year, and I watch the whole 735. It takes over 667 hours to get it done. I do it. So when I was thinking about what I could add to this show, I started taking notes to just sort of write down and share with people my thoughts, and also things that I know that are true about the episodes. So I take a piece of paper and a pencil and I write notes. And these are those notes that my captain is asking me for. So this is First Contact. This is First Contact science fiction. This is delightful. For all of you trivia buffs out there who love DS9, and you play a lot of trivia in the bar, in the pub, or you play it a lot in the board games, you need to know that this is the episode. Captive Pursuit is the episode we learned that 300 people live on DS9. So if you're doing that trivia, if you're a DJ and you're doing that trivia, or you're participating in that trivia, ding, 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 tie a little string on your finger. We learned 300 people, give or take 300 people, live on DS9. This is beautiful makeup. The costuming and the makeup on this episode are incredible. They are just absolutely outstanding. And because of that, this episode won an Emmy for it. And just outstanding, beautiful makeup. I love Tosk. The writer's finding a clever way to show us O'Brien, how he would treat a stranger. And this is really key here, because I think there's a lot of soul in this kind of storytelling, because the writers didn't just choose to show us O'Brien's character by putting him in this position of meeting this alien to test his mettle, to test who he is as a person, and show us what a kind of a man and what a great friend he is. But they choose a very vulnerable stranger who appears very innocent. And so for me, I think that shows the very highest ethics and morals in the authors, because here we have this very vulnerable, very innocent alien, and rather than being aggressive or frightening with this creature, he embraces this creature and embraces this creature's innocence and nurtures that innocence. So not only do we find O'Brien to be a deserving and upright and upstanding man, but we find this creature and the way that how we should treat vulnerable creatures and how we should treat extraterrestrial life forms in such a compassionate and intelligent way. This is great writing. This is great science fiction writing. This is a profoundly alien civilization. And I did have a couple of criticisms. Species is species. It is not species. There is no CH, there is no SH, and there certainly isn't a CH and an SH. Please stop saying species. Just say species.
Who said that?
In the show. And then sentient. Sentient is sentient. It is not sentient. There is no CH in sentient. It is sentient. So just two small criticisms. The actors did that. I hate that. I have to point it out because, of course, I teach English. Sisko is shown to be a marvelous captain and a just man. I think that Sisko is just, I love that parting moment in his office when he shows that when it comes to doing the right thing, duty be damned.
Very Kirk of both he and O'Brien.
Yes, and so he's so strong and he's so upright. Here we're really starting to become committed to these men. These are fine men. These are men you want to know. These are men you want to hang out with. These are the kinds of friends you aspire to have because they make you a better version of yourself. And so I love this writing. This is a nice sci-fi tale. This totally works for me. I find nothing wrong with it. I do not find the same criticisms that I see out on the internet. That's horse hockey.
Horse hockey.
And that's it. That's all I have in my notes, boss.
Well, excellent. Yes, again, I cannot praise this episode enough. It was thoroughly entertaining. The stuff between, again, because at first, of course, a gigantic chunk of the episode, you don't know what Tosk is.
That's right.
So that's another thing that's clever about the story and about the writing of this episode. You don't know what Tosk is, so you're expecting some skullduggery. It's gonna turn out to be bad. It's gonna turn out to do something, nasty. You're expecting him to do something nasty. He's reptilian, right?
Yeah.
You're starting to like him, but and the episode really makes you like and feel for him so much. It does a wonderful job of that. And then when the other aliens showed up and tell you deeper into the episode, which works so well, they make you wait. What is he? What's Tosk? In the end, he goes to find out where the weapons are. So he's up to something, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the aliens show up and explain what it is, this is so clever, such a great idea. What a wonderful concept.
Yep. It
Yeah,
really
no.
keeps you guessing up until the very end because you're like, okay, is this creature pretending to be evil? Is it
Right.
that this creature doesn't realize that killing is wrong, or is killing okay for this creature? Is this creature a mass murderer? Is he being pursued by the
Yes.
law? And it keeps you guessing right up until the end. And so even after several rewatches, like in my case, I still find that energy and that love for this episode because of how well done it is.
It's a marvelous performance by Scott McDonald. Garrett Graham's in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the scene, the really great scene. There are a lot of really great scenes between him and O'Brien, like you talked about. I love the way Cisco handled it, and really, of course, helped. Even though he had to read the riot act to O'Brien, the scene at Quark's was particularly entertaining when I have no use for a fantasy adventure. I mean, I'm sorry, I have no vices for you to exploit.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Again, just a marvelous friendship there. And when he tells O'Brien, "You are now Tusk," so
Yeah.
he actually, this being that knew nothing but running from and outwitting his hunters,
Yeah.
because he was bred to do that, learns things he never really should have learned, and he's never going to have a friend in his life. Ends up having a friend, and it's just touching. It's brilliant. I love this episode. So
And the alien aspect, I think, is enhanced by this innocence, a juxtaposition to the fact that he's at the weapons locker, that he's meant to look scary, like as a lizard. The
yes, he
teeth,
looks scary. Right.
his teeth are just beautiful. Like the makeup on
Yeah.
this is just
And he get
absolutely
turned
outstanding.
invisible, so he's like Predator almost.
That's another thing where you're like, okay, he's evil. So he has all of these signals that he's
Exactly.
bad and dangerous and scary. But then he has these moments, these touching moments where he's very earnest, and he also appears very innocent. So it really keeps you guessing right up until the very end, and it's just great fun. This is great science fiction. Love it.
That's why I say it's very Roddenberry. And this is all the visual evidence make you think this guy's going to be scary. He's going to do bad things. He's going to be bad. Then it flips it on its head, and
Mm-hmm.
you find out that he's, other than being a clever prey, and he's a danger only to the people he was bred to be a danger to, the hunters.
Yes.
He's absolutely benign the other way, and he's innocent. That is so much Roddenberry in the way this character is, the creation, the cleverness of the creation of this character, and the cleverness of this episode. So
Yep.
it feels like it's right out of the original series in terms of its
agree.
ideas and its concepts and its cleverness, in my opinion.
Yep.
So
Yep. Totally agree, boss.
So number one, what is your rating? What I'll do is I'll get number one's rating, everyone, and then I'll give mine. Then I will ask. So hold your fire. Then I will ask for yours in the chat. Number one, what is your rating of Captive Pursuit?
This is an A for me. I think that it deserves a full A. It might even deserve an A plus, depending upon when I'm watching it. But I would never give it lower than an A. When you have this much brevity is required, when you have this short of the amount of time to tell a story, and you do it this well, just outstanding, folks. This is a great short story. It's glorious. I enjoy it. Who could criticize it? I just love it. It's an A, boss.
I give it an A plus. I really love it that much. And when we get down to the end of the series and do our top 5 of the shows or whatever, it'll probably be in there. I've always loved it, and I even enjoyed it even more so because I love that idea of it being such a short but brilliant story. So now I will ask our wonderful friends in the chat, please start sending your ratings and any review or any words you might have to say. Please try to keep it at least around the 7 or lower if you could, because we got some, we don't have so many people here as last week, but still. But feel free, knock yourselves out now, and number one will star those.
You've heard the word's been given by the boss, so you can go ahead and put those reviews up, and I will do my best to track them all down, and then I'll get them up on the marquee for the boss.
Oh, I don't have any limericks tonight, so I don't. But if you want me to start, I can. But that's all right. I don't know. Max is not here tonight. That's okay. I hope he's all right. Well, we shout out if you hear this later, Max. Hope you're doing okay, dude.
Maximum Redstone.
Oh, look. Wait a minute. I do have him.
Oh,
He may
nice.
not be watching live tonight. He's planning on making. Okay, he's doing something, but he has come through with a pitch. And if I had not checked my email, which I rarely do, I would not have this for you. So while number one is getting that ready for you, we have some. Thank you, Max. If you hear this later, I will have to thank him later if he doesn't hear it. We have some limericks. Here we go. Captive Pursuit by the great Max Redstone. Here we go. Excuse me. To one it may seem quite combative, this life he has chosen to live. But for Tosk, life's no fun unless he's off on the run. He's just a natural born fugitive. Nice. Hey, big shout out to the great Max Redstone. Thank you, buddy.
Max.
And I appreciate Max doing that. Oh, Stale Messiah with a $20 Danish krona, I think they call it. I hope I'm not getting it wrong. He says, "You're all geeks and nerds. I love it." We love you, buddy. Thank you for that. You're too
we
kind,
love you, Snail Messiah.
Thank you so much. You're very generous. I appreciate that, buddy. And yes, we damn are. We are some nerds. And we're happy about it. So let's see what we got here that you're already getting ready for me there. Number one, keep on starting.
You've already got 23 in the kitty.
Okay. We'll start off with Pleasant Valley Picker. What's up, dude? Good to see you, Pleasant Valley. Welcome, by the way. He popped in while we were reviewing stuff, I think. Oh, here we go. All right, Pleasant Valley. In fact, did I know he was here?
Yes, we called him out.
We did?
We did.
Oh, yeah, he did. Okay. Brain fried.
Hey, it's a full room. Your brain isn't fried. You're marvelous. I love you. And dedicating all this time to all these different people, everyone appreciates it. You're wonderful. Be kind to yourself, or I'll send you shin kicks.
You know I'm not capable.
I know.
Of that. I'm not capable of that emotion. Pleasant Valley Picker says, "Hey, I love this episode. One of my favorite episodes of the entire season and series. Original and intriguing in that his species was bred to be hunted. His purpose in life was to be prey." That's number one. Let's see if I can find this next one. Must be way down or something. Oh, here. Okay, boys. There it is.
Got it.
Tosk was a great character. The makeup was awesome and won an Emmy Award. Scott McDonald gave an excellent performance as Tosk. Tosk was an endearing character. Agreed. And he's got another one. Let's see. And here we go. O'Brien was great. Colomini gave a great performance, befriending a stranger. Just an excellent, very entertaining episode. I'll say it again. I love this episode. Well, I concur.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you, Pleasant.
Yeah.
Raymond Feliciano says, this gives us a good fleshing out of O'Brien. The use of a hunt is intriguing, and the resolution is satisfying. We see more of Cisco's style of leadership.
Yeah.
A good, well-made point. Raymond, thank you, sir.
So Raymond, feeling all the same feels I feel. It's funny how authors gravitate towards that and just say, hey, that's good. That's good work. That's good work.
Indeed,
and Keely Chow just walked in and let us know that Scotty sent him over in a sporking raid.
Keely Chow, roll tide. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you. And hey, all hail the great sporkers. Zathras. Hey, Zathras. I didn't know you were here, Zathras.
Crap.
Oh, Zathras, buddy. Good to see you. Let me write you down. I did not realize you were here. Welcome. He says, A+. This episode is excellent, but I have to say Babylon 5 is better. Sorry, I had to. Yeah, he has to. If he doesn't mention Babylon 5 in every message, he gets in trouble.
Yes, that's why I think that he should just put B5 at the beginning of every single one of his reviews.
Well, I love Babylon 5, but
yes,
so
me too.
Go. James Caserta, A-. Thank you, James. Appreciate that. Excellent. Let's see here. Hungry boy, as in hungry for that curious sassiness and strata hubba says A+. Proper sci-fi recognizes that mammalians would not be the only top-tier sentience. I enjoyed Tosk being allowed to show reptilioid interactive traits. Hang on, buddy. Next one here. I had many scaly pals through my life, so this app spoke to me personally and felt respectful to conceptual Sci-fi.
Mhm.
Indeed.
Hungry Boy raises a
My
very cool sci-fi point, and that is, that not every planet is going to evolve with lower, upper, and lower, like the one apex, the human being ruling over, all of the animals. And I love that he brings that up. That's one of the reasons why I love this episode. So yeah, great review, Hungry Boy.
indeedishness. So I'm coughing, everyone. Sorry, I'm having a. Okay. My point of view of this tale comes from an Aussie perspective, where we abide with charming reptiles every day,
Yep.
every day. So this app maybe meant more to Antipodians.
Very nice. Nice pronunciation.
Wow,
Your cold read skills are just great.
you must be talking to somebody else. Mine are the worst in the universe. But I
This
love
is
you
an
anyway.
international show, and we deal with like 10, 15, sometimes 20 different languages. That's what we're reading. That's where that English comes from. 10, 15, 20 different languages in one night. And we cold read everything. So I think you're pretty spectacular, Captain.
You are. I know you are, but what am I? Wolfie says, rating A. Great story, great makeup, lots of miles. Yes, love the Doctor Who style beam out. That's cool. Yes, makes one wonder if some species or independent transporter users customize how their beam effects look.
Mm-hmm.
That's yeah. I mean,
It,
sure.
in any case, it fires the imagination, because the first thing your mind goes to, and I love that you brought this up, Wolfie, is that on different planets, that transporting would be developed in different scientific ways. And the fact that the authors
Oh
are
yeah,
able
yeah.
to put your brain in that place makes this really, really good science fiction. So I love that you're bringing this up,
Yes.
Wolfie. Love, love, love it.
Even on the original series, Klingon transporter effect looks different from ours
That's
and so
right.
forth. Yeah.
Yeah,
Today,
it's such a great play on bringing you back to that, circling back onto that science fiction aspect of it. It's great. And these are the little details that you need. And you have to have sci-fi authors around to do this kind of thing. So it's marvelous. And you know what? What's really cool, Captain, is that we all notice it. In these newer shows, they think that the audience, they're a bunch of, idiots, but we're not. We notice all these fine science fiction details. We love them. We crave them. We need them.
indeediousness. Today, I believe I'll go with the Pac-Man meltdown effect. Says the second, Wolfie's second tweet. How about these guys absorbing energy weapon fire with a device only on their forearm? Freaking cool idea.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, it was great. And again, when they first beamed down with all the helmets and all that stuff, I was like, that looks so like old Star Trek. I love it.
It's beautiful.
Looks
It's
like
good
the original
stuff.
series. B plus as shooter. Is it hard to rate? Hard to rate. I remember it well, but that makes me less interested in watching it. Again, I believable culture clash when meeting new species, a familiar plot, but done fairly well. Hang on a
Mm-hmm.
second, shooter. Let me get to your next one. I gotta find it. There we go. The way O'Brien says friend feels forced or almost hostile, but that could just be me. Again, Quark has some of the best lines. Tosk's speech to O'Brien was well delivered and provides clarity.
May I please interject for just one moment, please,
Uh-huh.
Captain? We're losing the Dadman clan. They're leaving for this evening,
Good
so I
night,
just
friends.
say good night to them, and mwah, mwah, my love to
Okie
you.
dokie.
Good night,
Good night,
Dadman
Dad,
clan.
man. Later, Gator. Good to see you, buddy. No weapon sensors in the future. I can't help feel disappointed with Cisco's attitude. Can't articulate why. I did enjoy the ending though. Miles breaking the rules and Cisco letting him do it. With Cisco's, I'm not sure what you. I'm not. That's okay though. Cool. It's not exactly sure what problem you'd have with Cisco on this one. Cisco,
Mm-hmm.
he still pretty much obeyed the Prime directive in a sense by helping O'Brien. They gave those people what they wanted. They wanted the hunt back.
And
Since
they did have a weapons sensor. There's a weapons sensor
yeah, they
positioned
did.
around every airlock, and it goes off.
Remember, it went off when
Yeah,
O'Brien walked through it
that's
with
right.
his phaser.
Yep. And as O'Brien explains, this being only the fifth episode, but O'Brien explains that each airlock is outfitted with them, and that everything's fine. It just detects it, and
Right.
so everyone's aware that that person has a weapon.
Yep. Yep. The great Chris Persia says, A, an entertaining story which might have drawn inspiration from The Most Dangerous Game. In a sense, yeah, that's of course one of the most famous movies that has been, and that movie has been ripped off a bazillion times in different ways. There's a similarity to that for sure. There's definitely I guess, a nod towards that, Chris. Good call. The idea of a sentient race viewing the notion of hunting other sentient life as
Yeah,
the ultimate game.
yeah,
Yes.
scary.
Yep. Being
At that point, it's more like murder than hunting, and it's very intriguing because it leads the person's mind directly to that part in your head where you're like, okay, so then how do we establish what's hunting and what's murder? So it's a very interesting concept.
yeah, well, that's why they genetically bred these beings to actually, and manipulated them to want to be hunted, to actually the hunt being something important for them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of a great moral, discussion here about that sort of thing.
Yes.
Being
And
wary,
no didacticism.
nope, that was pretty. It was pretty fair-handed.
Mm-hmm.
Being wary, Tosk due to a suspicious behavior added to the intrigue. Yes, an inspirational story that might have been the source for Stargate Atlantis having the Wraith hunt Ronin for sport. Okay, and I haven't seen that yet, but I hear you. Um, Sandra Feliciano says, A, moral dilemma of following the prime directive of protecting a living being had to be a challenge.
Yes.
Even today, cultures can clash, and what is imperative to one culture can be horrific to another.
Well said. Well
Well
said.
said as
What a
always.
wonderful review. Thank you, Sandra.
So here the great Lord Thoth says, B plus. A fun adventure with a great story, a true sci-fi mystery, and great acting. I have loved this episode since the first time I saw it. A taste of what is to come. Hail to the chief! Wow, B plus for an episode you love. I can't wait to see an episode. What rating you give an episode you? I can't. Well, man.
Well, he is Scrooge
love,
McThoth, right? He's
Yeah,
Scrooge McThoth. If you give him coal and he places it somewhere, a couple of weeks later, it's a diamond. You will not get good reviews out of Scrooge McThoth.
No, that's true. Now we had to give you some guff there, dude.
He's tough. Tough.
I'll tell you what. So why don't we go after our good buddy, our good friend Enigmatic Drop Bear? Why don't you take the con first? I mean, you take the stars, and I'll take the con for a second.
All right. I'm over here now. Here we go. Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear, one of my favorite bears out of all the bears. Yeah, I like this bear better than Winnie the Pooh. Anyway, Enigmatic Drop Bear, he's got a 5-parter, and he's going to go ahead and give this episode an A-. He says, the story cleverly unfolded Tosk's predicament and built our sympathy for their plight. It effectively demonstrated the hunter's actions as being reprehensible to our sensibilities. 2 of 5. Circumstances required pragmatism over protocol and formality. So it was fitting that O'Brien, the station's notable pragmatist, was the story's central character. I mean, it's really nice that the authors decided to display this character to us in this way. It's a stroke of true professionalism in science fiction writing. 3 of 5. O'Brien's Irish heritage. Ah, yes, he's an Irishman, and the portrayal of the toffish red-coated hunters also made for an interesting parable within the larger story. And I agree. 4 of 5. However, this episode and Babel were problematic for Quark. here at the outset, we have him portrayed as a sexual predator. In Babel, we had him placing lives at risk for personal gain. See, Enigmatic Drop Bear is one of those people who wants to like Quark. 5 of 5. Better these misdeeds were left out of the stories than leaving them unresolved. The ambiguity of Quark is great, but better to stay on the side of lovable rogue than malevolent predator. I agree. And I think that intensifies in retrospect, because I think we, for those of us who watched this for the first time back in 1993, the first thing we were thinking of is, oh, great, the Ferengi, they're such creeps. And so we had no fond feelings for him. And we think he's just going to be gross. And then, now we've developed these relationships with Ferengi since the 90s. And now we like them. We find them endearing and rather silly and loving and sometimes profoundly loyal and caring. So it is hard to watch it and see that and think, I thought I liked Ferengi and Quark's acted kind of like a creep, but we gradually build to liking the Ferengi, and they're not perfect either. They have some stuff in their societies is not that good. Anyway, over to you, boss. I'm on the live tab now.
Oh, and unmute there. Back to the start. Here we go. Fathom Outsider says, B, although it seemed like the hunter wasn't a very good sport, as they were willing to take Tosk in, even though they had nothing to do with his capture. Yeah, I mean, they didn't like it, though he wasn't happy about it. I mean, they revered Tosk. It's a weird, different kind of a society there. The release of Tosk was more balancing out the game since the hunters didn't catch him. Therefore, his release was in the line of the Prime Directive. The game could continue unimpeded. Well, I mean, but the aliens wanted, they wanted him. They were bringing him back though, and they still were being impeded in bringing him back, even though they didn't like having to do it. They apparently there's nothing in their rules kind of go against. I don't know, maybe go against them doing something that what O'Brien did. They've never really had to deal with that circumstance before, probably. So, JT Kirk says 8.5 out of 10, a great story and an interesting species. Okay, introduced. All right, species. I don't remember. I guess I just missed someone saying. I must have missed somebody saying that. I didn't hear it. So, a shame. Who said it? Well, who was it that said it, by the way?
Colm. Yeah.
Oh, he must have just misspoke or something, I guess. A shame this is the last we see of Tosk. Kudos to the change, to the chance, but kudos to the chance the writers took giving Calmini a more prominent role in DS9 versus TNG. Yes, agreed. And it paid off big time, became one of the great characters. He was fine he was good on TNG, but he got the shine here. Narada Amanda Bear, it says B+, very classic kind of campy sci-fi, plus O'Brien rules.
And you're right.
Indeed. Cassandra says 36th anniversary Monster Club lunch. Well, excellent. Happy 36th anniversary to you and Michael. Cassandra, I hope you all are having
kids.
A wonderful night. Yep, hope you're having a great night there. Oh, there's a third one all of a sudden for Phantom Outsider. Which I didn't see.
There is.
Oops, realized one flaw. O'Brien could have just declared he, having captured Tosh, was keeping him. It would have been the smarter move, but they didn't want another cast member. Well, I don't know if that would fly with that government. I don't know. I mean, I don't think he could have got away with that. That's just my vibe on that. URO Toys says A+. Thank you, URO Toys. Appreciate you. Hungry Boy says, and good effing job on reffing the red coats. Yes, fab top marks. Why is that there?
I don't know. I thought you starred that.
I didn't.
Yeah, well, there's something going on with StreamYards. However, I did star this one because I think it's cheeky and fun.
Remember to Art Burden with clothing businesses. with closing business or finances. What's bad about that? I don't know. What's that in reference to?
Ferengi.
Oh yeah. Well, how did Ferengi get brought up? I'm confused now. I'm double confused, but that's okay. I mean, I don't know why. Narat, who was talking about Ferengi, dude?
We were talking about Quark. Enigmatic Drop Bear was talking about how it would have been better for the plot if they just would have left all the creepy stuff that Quark did, if they would have left the plot. And of course, everyone agrees with Enigmatic Drop Bear.
Gotcha. Okie dokie. Love this episode. I'm glad we all enjoyed it. So, what are we ready for our next episode?
We are.
Let us go.
Okay, I'm going to cold read from Wikipedia here, but first let's introduce the episode. The next episode is Q-less. This is season 1, episode 7. Although your numbers may vary, this is prod code 407. I'm going to throw that out there because we'll need that when the book finally arrives.
Yes.
We all watched this for the first time on February 8th, 1993. Now, because we don't have the book here yet, I will be cold reading from Wikipedia. This Wikipedia page is entitled Q-less. And I'm going to be reading from the plot section extemporaneously. So it might be a little rough. Saddle up, lock and load. Lieutenant Jadzia Dax returns from the Gamma Quadrant in her runabout with a woman that Chief Miles O'Brien recognizes as Vash or Vosh, depending upon which character's saying it, from his time on board the Enterprise. Although the crew is unaware of his presence, Q, a nearly omnipotent prankster, has also stowed away on the runabout. During their trip back to DS9, the vessel undergoes a series of unusual power drains. Soon after Vosh's arrival, the station begins to experience similar power failures. In the meantime, Q appears to Vosh, apparently infatuated with her. Although Q transported Vosh to the Gamma Quadrant 2 years earlier, now she wants nothing to do with him, much to Q's annoyance. When Dr. Julian Bashir asks Vosh out for dinner, a jealous Q uses his power to make Bashir fall asleep. Meanwhile, the bartender Quark arranges to auction off items Vosh found in the Gamma Quadrant, including an unusual crystal that might fetch a high price. O'Brien spots Q on the station, recognizes him from the Enterprise, and warns Commander Sisko, speculating that Q may be responsible for the power drains. When confronted, Q denies any wrongdoing, although he offers no alternative explanation. As the power drains become more severe, the station begins to be pulled toward a nearby wormhole. Q challenges Sisko to a boxing match, and suddenly they are both wearing antique-style boxing costumes. A few punches are thrown, and Q is shocked when Sisko knocks him down. At the auction, Vosh's crystal receives bids in excess of 1,000 bars of gold-pressed platinum. Casually joining the bid process, Q ups the bidding to 2,501 bars before bidding 1 million. Soon after, however, the source of power losses is traced to the crystal itself. The crystal is quickly beamed into space before it can destroy the station. Outside, it transforms into an alien life form and travels into the wormhole. After the incident, Bashir finally awakens from his slumber. And that is all the Wikipedia users have to say about the plot of Q-less, Season 1, Episode 7 of Deep Space Nine. What did you think of the episode, boss?
It's always nice to see Q, and I like Vosh. I mean, it was a relatively entertaining, harmless, benign episode. It was actually also a fairly interesting ending or a plot there that they were building up to with the being that was being kept and causing the station to be inexplicably sucked into the wormhole. So I don't have a whole hell of a lot to say about it other than it's kind of fun seeing Q again, seeing with this crew. The thing, and this has nothing to do with the episode, I would like to have seen him pop up again, but we don't get to see that. So the scene with Sisko and Q in the boxing thing. That was fun when he lays Q out and goes, "You hit me. Picard never hit me. I'm not Picard." Stuff like that. Again, what little he's in it, Vosh and Quark stuff is kind of fun. It's just a fairly benign, fairly amusing episode, like a lot of Q episodes. Not a lot to it or anything like that, but I enjoyed it. That was fun. You?
Well, it's not my favorite episode, but
No.
some folks in the chat are asking how to say Ferengi. In Canada and the United States, we just say Ferengi. We don't say Frangie.
Frangie?
Yeah. Shooter and Hungry Boy.
Ferengi, huh?
Yeah, we say Ferengi.
Yes, I just say Ferengi. I didn't know it was an issue.
I say Ferengi, you say Frangie. Let's call the whole thing off. Yeah,
if there had been an Australian member of the crew, he would be saying Frangie?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this isn't my favorite episode.
No, nor mine. I mean, but go for your notes, or if you're ready, then.
Okay, here are my notes, folks. It's going to be
elaborate if you want, but go ahead.
Possibly be a great disappointment, a grand disappointment for one and all.
Don't worry about that.
And Wolfie says Ferenginarians. Yeah, Ferenginar. So Vash arguing with Q on DS9 is totally uninteresting to me. Vash or Vosh doing Umox on Quark is entirely uninteresting to me. Jillian trying to woo Vosh or Vash is entirely uninteresting to me. Q putting Jillian to sleep is unfunny. It's a very reminiscent of some sort of tale from Greek orality. You put the giant to sleep anyway, or you put the problem to sleep. Cisco and Q boxing match is kind of meh. Q is cruel to Vosh and does terrible things to her. Thought that was weird. I love that he calls Benjamin Benji. Every single time he calls him Benji, and he puts a little emphasis on the Benji, the beginning, the B. I think it's funny. I just love it. The mystery energy to graviton storyline to Trillium gas storyline is a big yawn for me. It's not science fiction. It's more kind of what's going on here.
Sensing a pattern.
Yeah, and then of course we have the Farpoint Station baby, so adorbs. And then we have the waste of Q. I have in my notes here. I feel that Q is out of place on DS9. I don't think he really belongs here. It doesn't feel right to have him on DS9. And I don't like the fact that he ignores Cisco after threatening him. So when he gets a punch, he gets a fast five in the snip, as they say. He turns around and says, you punched me. Picard never hit me. You can't control your anger. That's something I can exploit in you. You're you little wimp, you weakling. I can manipulate you. You can't control your temper.
Yep,
and then of course
you're easier to provoke.
You're easier to provoke. And then of course we never hear hide nor hair of it ever again. So not my favorite. I don't like the Vosh Vash thing. It's just
I think both Q and the writers of the show definitely agree with you because he never went back and they never brought him back. They let Janeway deal with it, remember? So there you go. Yeah, again, it's not my favorite one either. I like Q so much. I guess I enjoyed what little we got out of Q. I was wanting for more of Q rather than Vosh, but that's the thing. This episode was split between the two of them. And you get more Vosh stuff than Q stuff. Yeah. So I guess they were giving it a try to see how he would work with this crew. And I'm not saying you could. I think you could probably do a good Q story on here. This one, again, I found it mildly amusing, but I don't disagree with much of what you said there either. I mean, I liked it a little better than you did, obviously, but I didn't think it was a great one or anything. There were a lot of way better Q episodes in the past. Even on
Yeah,
TNG, they
Hannah
stopped.
Louise Shearer did this story, so she's actually the one who wrote the short story here, and that's where I think that a lot of the suck comes from, because when we get to Robert Hewitt Wolfe doing the teleplay, now that's the actual screenwriting for this, the teleplay.
Right.
So that's adapting the short story into what you see in celluloid, what you see on film. We see some really great moments there with the Benji, and so it's very cute. So I would like to say that I don't think that the short story is good here. I don't think it's a good sci-fi short story. I just don't. But I do think that Robert Hewitt Wolfe does his darndest to get the most out of that short story in his teleplay version of that short story. And yeah, I do like some of the moments, but it's just, do I care about Vosh? Do I care about this auction? Do I care about any of this? Do I really need to see another Farpoint Station baby? No, I don't. No, I don't.
Gotcha. So, do you care about Vosh? No, yours is good. I think that's kind of part of the problem. I actually don't mind Vosh that much. But I mean, I like the actress, obviously, because I'm a dude. You know, she's kind of a lovely lady. But
yeah,
and she's actually, I like her character in the episodes we've seen her in on TNG. I don't mind her on this one. But when I see a Q episode, I kind of want to see more Q. It's just like, what was it? There was another 1 or 2 episodes of TNG that I felt the same way about, in the sense that I didn't get enough Q in the episode for me. I mean, it was always more fun when Q was aggravating Picard, and they didn't do it that much in certain episodes. And I guess Picard, it's more fun. By the way, who's more fun to see get picked on anyway? Picard is more fun to see get annoyed. Say what you want about Poopy Stew. I'd rather annoy him than Cisco, personally.
Yeah.
And I guess he annoyed Janeway pretty well too. If you like those episodes, I don't know, but yeah. Look, not again. I wasn't super thrilled with it either, but I thought it was fun. I thought it was an okay, enjoyable episode. I guess I'm still suffering from some of that 7th season shock syndrome of TNGs, where I thought it was just okay. But I want to see more Q. So anyway, what is your rating?
Yeah, and give me more Q, but don't show me his relationship with Vosh. I'm not interested in it.
That's what I'm saying. I meant more than, rather than Vosh, I wanted to see more.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so
Q.
before we get to my rating, everyone is asking this question, so I'm just going to go ahead and answer these questions that everyone is talking about in the chat. First of all, James Caserta, of course I remember Benji, and you are really dating yourself. That's because we're old, James Caserta. And all of our Aussies have erupted in making fun of their cool accents. I love all of the Aussies. And Hungry Boy is showing the different pronunciations with phonics. And I have a little joke that I like to tell about my Australian, New Zealand, and friends in Britain. I always say that to describe their accent is this: they speak and then give up on the word halfway through it. So that is my take on my lovely Aussie friends, Aussie, saying Brisbane instead of Brisbane.
Brisbane,
or saying Emmer instead of Emma, or saying harm instead of home. I love you. Don't ever change. Your accents are the coolest, and you're adorable, and I love you. And so. Don't
ever change it. Hello, Bruce. Don't change it at all. Don't say anything about the Barbie either.
Yeah. You just keep on giving up words. You start the word, then just give up on it, and we'll figure out the rest. I love you all.
Hey, and just blame Paul Hogan for the way we think about the Australian accent. Just saying.
Yeah.
I love Crocodile Dundee. Sue me.
Me too. That's a great movie. One of the
those
best movies ever.
I like 1 and 2, and third one's not so good. That was
I like all of the Crocodile Dundee movies. I do not. I refuse to judge them harshly because they're too much fun.
They are too much fun, but I'd say I love the first 2. The third one was like 30 years later. But anyway, my goodness. Okay, so I will
getting back to it, boss. You asked me for my review. Sorry for that.
It's just
rating. I
forgot where we were.
It's okay. There were about 7 people talking about that, so I just wanted to make sure I addressed it. But you said,
All right.
number 1, what is your rating for Q
That I
less?
did. Now that I
And
remember.
I can tell you, boss, that my
Yes.
rating for the Vosh and Q romance
Bosch
is
less.
a C plus.
A C plus. Well, I got it at a B minus because again I did find it. It's fun to see Q show up, and I don't know. I just found it fairly. I didn't think it was that bad. It was fairly entertaining, but I didn't think it was that good either. Just could have been way better. But again, so far this show hasn't had any horrible clunkers yet.
Yeah,
which is good for me anyway. For me, so. Number 1, I will now ask our wonderful chat to give their any ratings and any words they may have on Q less, and then I will ask you to take the star point position, take the star helm, and I will get us some Max Redstone entertainment. How about that?
Aye, Captain.
All right, while you're doing that, all right, everybody. Clueless by the great Maximum Max Redstone. Here we go. Shouldn't Q and Vash be a good bunch? But Q abandoned her, and I've got a hunch. A connection not so deep, but can still put Bashir to sleep. And unlike Picard, Cisco can throw a good punch. Whoa! Nice! Great Max Redstone. Thank you, sir.
Marvelous.
I love it. Max is the man. Max is a maximum feller.
Maximum Redstone.
All righty, folks. Here we go.
The word has been given, by the way, folks. Usually there are about 20 in the queue. There are only 5 right now.
Only 5?
Please know that the boss gave the word. The word has been given. Fire it, Will. Fire it, Will.
Folks. I thought I did, didn't I? Maybe.
Yeah, you did. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
You did, boss.
Your Old Toys gives it an A plus. Thank you, Your Old Toys. Appreciate that. Shooter says B. Come on, John Delancey, as Q is always entertaining. I agree with that, buddy. That's what I'm saying. I want it even more. Has that encounter at Farpoint? Has that encounter at Farpoint Q testing humanity feel, but done with more character? Although it leans on TNG, it still feels like DS9. Well, and that it is. Thank you so much for that. Jerry Trey Kirk says a 7.5 out of 10. A missed Q opportunity. Cisco should have given Picard the ultimate one up by getting with Vash Vosh, and letting her perform Umax on him.
I love JT. I love you, JT.
Umax. Oh my goodness. Zathras says C minus. Don't put Q in the corner. And B5 is better, right? You forgot to say Babylon 5 is better.
May I please interject? I beg your pardon, boss. Sandra Feliciano is saying, I'm fading. I had a flight clinic I taught at today, starting early in the morning. Wish I could stay up longer. B, my favorite part was Cisco punching Q. Love that he got what he was asking for. Now, I know that I've read that out of order, but I just want to make sure because she has to leave. So I just want to make sure I say goodnight to her.
Thank you, Sandra.
Good night, Sandra.
And speaking of Felicianos, we have Raymond says B. For Cisco punching Q makes the whole episode. I am not overly fond of the Farpoint alien trope, but it was good. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I hear you. Wolfie says, rating B. Not the worst Q episode, but not the best either. Not nearly as bad as I remember. For what DS9 evolves into, this does feel out of place, but it was fun.
That's a very fair comment.
I'm with you there. It was mildly entertaining to me as well. Fun little moment here that was forgotten as time went on when comparing of the captains. I seem to remember amazement when it was mentioned that Cisco once punched Q in the face. Hungry Boy says, B. We all know I'm a theater junkie, and this felt a bit like an Oscar Wilde outing, cloaked in sci-fi fantasy. This is no fantasy.
Very insightful. Very insightful.
Indeedishness. Q Q portents of being artists off, dude. Oh, you. While Gilbert and Sullivan stand on the sidelines enjoying snorts of brandy, starring the DS9 cast. I dig it.
What a great comment.
Can you dig it? Pleasant Valley Picker says, C. Oh man, excuse while I finish beating my head against the wall thinking about this episode, trying to forget it. I'm one of those folks that has seen enough Q to last a lifetime.
I gotcha.
Okie dokie.
A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people are divided on Q, so don't you worry, BC.
Vosh is not that interesting a character. Got to say, though, her giving Quark and Uma made me laugh. Overall, a meh episode.
Yep.
Hang on. I know he's got another. He says he's got another one. Oh, there we go. There, got it. Hey, Masters of Maniac Mexico was here. I didn't know.
I beg your pardon, boss, but our friend Raymond Feliciano is saying good night, R.M. Briggs, and he's saying clobbering times, fading fast. Good night, all.
Good night.
Everyone, please say good night to Raymond and to Sandra Feliciano. Good night, Feliciano.
Good night, sir. Have a good one, buddy. King Dolphin TV, everyone. Q had good episodes early on as he appeared more. As he appeared more, it was a diminishing returns. Heard Stairway to Heaven 100 times and still listen to it, enjoy it. Can't say the same about seeing Q. Well, there you go.
So since you said it and Raymond liked it, Raymond said in the chat that he liked it. I'll just say it for him. King Dolphin TV.
Should we say King Dolphin TV?
Yeah, exactly. He likes it.
There we go. Take it easy, buddy. Let's see. The Great Lord Thoth says C. Not a great episode. Q wasn't used well. I can see that for sure. Not an axe. Amanda Bear says A-. I both love and hate this episode. Stellar overall. It may as well be a masterpiece these days. I got you. Michael Bacon says, B, the writers are getting the last TNG out of their systems. I think this was a TNG script reworked. Lots of good moments, but did not add up to an outstanding whole. My only complaint is they make Dr. Bashir a total hound dog in these first episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Q likes Vash the way I see some collectors have a favorite figurine.
Yes.
Wendy Webb says, C. I remember this episode from years ago. I also remember laughing my arse off when Cisco punched Q. Yes, a lot of people like that. Masters Mexico, Maniac Mexico, excuse me. Good to see you. With last week's panel, I've started to watch DS9 all over again. Just finished episode 20 this season. Sorry. 21 season? I think he means
episode 20.
It's season 1.
Yeah.
I'm interpolating that. Okay, good. Gotcha. Fun from outside, bro. Says B. Cisco punching Q always moves him over Picard in the captain rankings. Do you really think Kirk would take any guff from Q?
No.
That's why Q never appeared in TOS, waiting till Kirk was gone. Well, yes, sir. I'm with you there, buddy.
I love that comment.
When he says, I had a typo. I have a broken finger. Yikes. I mean to say, I remember laughing my arse off. I got you. I understand. I stand under. Your Old Toy says A+. This one is my favorite episode of Style Track.
He issued a correction, which I also starred, so that's coming your way now, boss.
This one, A+. This is my favorite. This is one of my favorite episodes of my favorite Star Trek episode. Sorry. Thank you, Your Old Toys. I appreciate that. And the great Cardinal Sin is here.
He
Welcome.
is.
Thank you for that $9.99 super sticker, buddy.
Yeah,
I hope you were
Gil,
well.
You are such a sweet person, and you're just so kind, and you are such a great friend to my captain. Thank you so much for supporting this channel and for supporting this show. It means a lot to us, Gil. Thank you, honey.
Appreciate you, man. Thanks so much. And I hope you're doing well tonight, buddy. Well, now we have Enigmatic Drop Bear, and there's nobody else reviewing tonight. I'm doing this.
That's
reviewing this
it.
one? Crazy. Got a small number tonight, so everybody must be
Yeah.
busy.
Enigmatic
Okay.
Drop Bear, the erudite bear, one of my favorite bears, certainly better than Pooh Bear. He's got a 3-parter here, and he's going to go ahead and give this episode a D. He says, this story contradicts Q's ethos. Q works on a grand stage, exploring big philosophical questions. There is nothing big or philosophical in Q's infatuation with and treatment of Vosh or Vash, and very well wrought, I must say, that comment. Further, the scene where Q crippled Vosh depicted Q as an abuser, as did his abandonment of her in the Gamma Quadrant. These are not the actions of a character who eschews the moral high ground. Yeah, and that's why I had that in my notes too. I love that also bothered you, Enigmatic Drop Bear, because if nothing,
it was disturbing.
Because he's supposed to be so high-minded as to be beyond human, and yet here he is crippling her up, trying to make her look physically ugly. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't go along with the character. I agree. And 3 of 3, the erudite bear says, I'm not sure there's a place for Q in a DS9 story. Yes, I agree. The core elements, characters, and premise of DS9 are essentially exploring many of the same themes as those in Q stories. Yeah, I find him out of place because I do feel like DS9 is about power, and it's about establishing power over others, and who's going to control the station, and all of these dynamics. So I think even if we were to bring in Q, I think it would be better to bring him in much later, once we've established who are the power brokers on this station, and we know the characters much better. Because we didn't test the captain's mettle by exposing him to Q. Cisco has a punch with him. He threatens Cisco, and then he just scurries off into the night like a cockroach. It doesn't make sense. The idea of Q is to test the mettle of the captain if it's going to be at the outset, if it's going to be a Farpoint station type of thing. And that's not what happens here. So I totally agree, Enigmatic Drop Bear, and love, love, love you. Great comments as always. Mwah! Boss man, you there?
I had to unmute. Sorry.
And
indeed,
Minimus is here, and he would just like to say,
Q is a deep. He is that. Yes, indeed. No question about it.
Shooter says, should I just wait until ED posts his review and just copy it? No, sweetheart. Shooter, I love your reviews. You need to put up your own answers. And
right.
Even if you have to massage your thoughts before they're fully formed, or even if you retract them, or you just want to test or audition those ideas or those opinions, that's what I care about. I care about an authentic friendship with you and hearing what you think and what you feel, regardless as to what anyone else in this room thinks, says, or does, because I respect you, and I know Clobby does too.
Absolutely. Oh, you know that, absolutely, Shooter, for sure. But they do say if you're going to copy the best. So at least you had the right idea who to copy if you want to copy somebody. Our buddy JT Kirk is referring to lurk mode. He said so. Thanks for being here, buddy.
I love you.
He said good night. He was saying good night to some people. I think he's going to still lurk, but I hope so. Anyway, JT, buddy.
Okay, honey. I love you. Thank you for being here.
Well, that was the smallest amount of reviews we've had forever.
It's summer. It's hot. Lots of people are camping.
I guess.
Anyway, look at this. Pleasant Valley Picker says, one reason I never liked Q as a character is he pretended to be high-minded, but he was often callous, vindictive, and just hateful to beings he thought were lesser than him. Yeah. It got under my skin as well.
True, but that is kind of the point of the character.
It is.
And I'm not the point is, hey, beings with so much power and they're omnipotent would be very arrogant, and they look down on everybody as lesser beings. I mean, there is the line in the episode when she says, "You think you know everything," is, but I do know everything. He's like, why would that be? And again, he's saying it sincerely. He's like, why would you not think I'm the greatest? I do know everything.
Yeah.
Okay, because to him, and it just made sense. So yeah, so that's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
think
funny
it's
there.
just for especially a lot of the guys in the audience. Sorry, I'm just going to be frank. I don't care what people think or what people say. Don't send me letters. Don't message me. I don't care. But I think for a lot of guys in the audience, they didn't like him being so physically abusive to the Vosh character and sort of taking away her beauty and shaming her and making her feel awful. When we like to see Q put up his dukes, we like Q putting his dukes up against a formidable opponent who can punch back and punch back in a way where there's a meeting of the minds where his high-mindedness is tested, whether or not he's evil is tested, rather than the author resorting to this petty brutality against a woman, I guess.
Well, see that scene though. My biggest problem with it is not him like pulling like a joke on her, making her look stupid for a couple of seconds, when she's actually in pain, when he's showing her how she's going to die painfully.
Yes.
That was horrible. In other words, pulling a stupid joke on her and not making her look silly, that would be cute.
Yep.
The other way, that scene, that's where it goes too far for me.
Yep.
Like, wow.
Yep. For sure,
So
for sure. And I think that gets under some people's skin because it's like, you know, when he's you know, having a verbal tussle with someone, whether it be a man or a woman, we respect him and we can't wait to see him refuse concession and to continue to fire at will in these highly ballistic rhetorical schemes that he devises for these shows. But when he's just doing something violent and cruel to a woman, it's like,
Well, that's what I'm saying. He never did anything to physically harm anyone before. He pulled a joke on him.
Yep.
So yeah, doing something ridiculous to like with even Bashir, he just put him to sleep. It was pretty shitty to do that too. But yeah, he's a little more. He's never been cruel before. Well, at least outwardly cruel. I mean, he pulled jokes on people mostly. Even when he had him get killed in that episode, the DNG, it was fake. It wasn't permanent. You know. Anyway, but yeah, he wasn't like really cruel before. I don't know what to do with that. Anyway, are we ready for our next episode?
We are ready. We're ready. We're ready.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, everybody. Our next episode is Dax.
It sure is. Dax is season 1, episode 8. But it could also be episode 7, depending upon if your streaming service busted up that initial offering. And you should make a note that it is prod code 408.
Oh, okay, well.
Because that when we go back to the incredibly generous gift that you got for me, when that finally arrives, that will matter. So we all watched this for the very first time on February 15th, 1993. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. I'm going to be reading extemporaneously from the Wikipedia page called Dax, Star Trek Deep Space Nine episode. I'm going to be reading from the plot section. And let's go. After having a meal with Dr. Bashir, Lieutenant Dax is abducted by a group of aliens while walking back to her quarters. Dr. Bashir alerts Commander Sisko that she has been taken, and the Deep Space Nine crew is able to prevent the abductors from leaving the station. One of the abductors, Tandro, accuses Dax, the Dax symbiont, then in the body of Curzon Dax, of murdering his father. Tandro, a famous military hero from Cholesterol 4, he wants to punish Jadzia Dax for a crime. His claim is based on the fact that during a civil war, a coded message informed the opposing side of his father's location, and the people who knew the location, Curzon, was the only one without an alibi. Major Kira insists that Dax cannot be extradited to Claystron without an arbitration hearing under Bajoran law. At a hearing, Sisko argues that Jadzia and Curzon Dax are two different individuals, sparking a lengthy debate. The arbiter suggests removing the Dax symbiont and leaving Jadzia behind, but Dr. Bashir says neither would survive the operation. the Tandro fellow, he argues that failure to punish Trill symbionts for acts committed in past lifetimes would create a perfect crime. Curiously, although her fate is uncertain, Jadzia seems complacent about the entire affair. Oh boy, I hope that was a mistake about the entire affair. I mean, come on, people. This is user generated, but that's really bad. Scuba Pete would throw fruit at that. Anyways, here we go. Meanwhile, DS9 security chief Odo visits Ion's, whatever his name is, mother Ania, or Enia. She tells him that Tandros murder, inspired his people to victory, and he has since become a worldwide hero. But she is adamant that Curzon did not betray her husband. Odo discovers evidence of an affair between Curzon and Ania, giving him a motive for the murder. Ania admits the affair to Odo and tells him that her husband was not the hero in life that he was in death. As the hearing resumes, Ania testifies that at the time of the murder, Curzon was in her bed. The arbiter dismisses the case. After the hearing is over, Ania talks privately with Dax of how no one must ever know that her husband had sent the coded message himself in an attempt to betray his own people, and the rebels killed him for the favor. Ooh, we have nasties in the chat. Get them, guys. Get them.
I got a couple of them. Someone else got another one there.
And that is all the users at Wikipedia have to say about the plot of Dax, season 1, episode 8 of DS9. What'd you think of the episode, boss?
It's an okay episode. I thought it's a pretty interesting story. I like the it does deal. Obviously, it's a courtroom drama type thing, and it is a bit of a drama, but it does deal with some fascinating things in terms of the Dax symbiote and Curzon Dax. It's a pretty interesting philosophical and science fiction concept. What about this being 30 years later being held responsible for a crime that is partially there and partially isn't, meaning the being. I thought there was some pretty good stuff in it. I like learning some stuff about Curzon Dax. So overall, I thought it was a pretty interesting, fairly well done episode. Not like the kind that really, I really look for all the time, but I thought it was okay.
Marvelous.
And you?
I think that this episode is outstanding. But I'm not saying that as a viewer. I'm saying that as an author. So this was written by DC Fontana, and it got tweaked a bit by Peter Allen Fields. But in Captive Pursuits, we see the revealing of O'Brien. So we see this very clever way in only the 5th offering of this television show, a wonderful way of telling us who O'Brien is as a man. And in so doing, we see a little bit about Cisco. And so that's some pretty clever writing happening there.
Yes.
We get this really great science fiction story, but we learn all about this key figure on this station. And we also learn a little bit more about the captain. Here, we have great DC Fontana with a little bit of help with Peter Allen Fields adjusting I think DC Fontana did the story. Or no. Peter Allen Fields did the story, and DC Fontana did the teleplay. So she's the one who adjusted it for TV. Anyway, I think that this is a stroke of genius to devise this whole story, this whole courtroom thing around revealing Dax to us the way that Kirk was revealed to us in a courtroom drama. But here we see something different is happening. We have this rebel faction happening, and we have this twist at the end. And so I think DC Fontana has done a marvelous job here. And I think Peter Allen Fields wrote a wonderful short story. I think they should both be very proud of what they did here. And of course, DC Fontana massaging this into a way for us to know Dax. This is great writing. We're only on the 7th episode. And now we fully know Dax. We understand her species. We understand her. We know about her past. And we've done it in a way that is interesting to the audience.
Absolutely love everything you said there. This is a very early on. It is crucial to establish your characters. Um, and this so far in episode, well, I know I'm wrong to call it 7. It's 8, whatever you want to call it. It's 7 to me because the emissary should be 1
No, it
episode.
is 7,
But
boss.
right,
It is 7.
I got you.
Yeah.
So 7 episodes in, and you're still doing a pretty damn good job of introducing your characters. Like something like Q-less is the kind of thing it's fluff because it doesn't do anything for the characters. Whereas Captain Pursuit is brilliant for what it does for characters, especially like for Brian O'Brien, for example. And a couple of episodes back, there was one that before that they had a pretty good one that gave you a little bit more on Odo. I think that was the Man Alone or whatever. In other words, and so the show's doing a wonderful job in fleshing out its characters. This one is great at that. For maybe even more for Cisco than Dax, like you said. So excellent. Notes?
Yes. Obviously, I wrote the Captive Pursuits reveals O'Brien, Dax reveals Dax. This is a teleplay by DC Fontana, written by Peter Allen Fields. Guess I should have just looked at my notes and then I wouldn't have gotten that mixed up. Placing a character on trial is a specific device used to explain and prove a character. Here we have the lovely DC Fontana, a marvelous science fiction author. She puts Dax on trial to explain Jadzia, Cisco's past, Trill society, and even Trill physiology. This was marvelous of DC Fontana. She accomplished so much and it felt so natural. This is a very short television show and she got so much leg out of this. Bravo, Dorothy. You know how much I love you. You know how much I respect you as a science fiction short story author. And your talent extends to teleplay as well. I mean, you could do both. You can wear both hats, Dorothy Fontana. DC Fontana, you wake up in the morning and you piss excellence. I love you, girl. You are just amazing. This is lovely science fiction writing here by use of the chemistry of salt, water, and evaporation. Here's another thing that you're getting this directly from DC Fontana. She's one of these people who, like myself, writes science fiction. So what does she do? She goes out and she makes sure that the entire episode is peppered with science. And we have this lovely conversation about how we have salt, we have water, we have evaporation, and then, of course, we have salt again. So I love that that's used in the trial. This is beautiful dialogue, and we expect this from Dorothy Fontana. DC Fontana's dialogue is always exceptional. This is just a great part of her work. This is just another log entry in the book of her righteous writing. I love her as a science fiction author, especially a short story. Dax is loyal to a fault. I love that we learned that Dax would never betray an entire society and allow a society to crumble over a secret. And here we learn that Dax can not only hold a very, very good secret, but is also loyal. Loyal not only to the woman who she had a relationship with, but also to an entire society that hangs in the balance should she reveal what Curzon's secret. So here we learned so much about Dax. I'm blown away by how in such a short amount of space on this television program, we get Jadzia as a person. We get Cisco's entire past with her. We get Trill Society. We get physiology, and then we get this new version of the girl. So not only do we get the characterization of Curzon Dax, we're getting the characterization of Jadzia Dax. Wow, Dorothy gets so much legs here in such a short period of time. I love you, girl. I love you. I love you. I love you. And that's all I have in my notes, boss.
You know that opening sequence when they try to kidnap her?
Yeah.
It's a good thing she wasn't second, third, or fourth season Dax. Those guys wouldn't have stood a chance with their Klingon martial arts.
Yeah.
That wasn't there yet. So
yeah.
Just saying. I love the episode. I'm just teasing. But
yeah.
Because they add stuff as the character goes along. Hello there, Midnight's Oblivion.
Yeah, and hello, Midnight's Oblivion. Yeah, and there is production talk I would like to test the veracity of that through original source material. But there is talk that they were resigned to making Jadzia Dax a wise old owl, and they were going to leave her, this wise old owl who walks around with her arms behind her back. So and then they depart from that. Then they decide they're cognizant of this decision to make the character be in touch with all those lives to keep the character interesting. So yeah, we do see her develop into something far different. For me, I think I can suspend belief. I can stay immersed in the story by just realizing, my goodness, she's only 28 years old. So she really comes into her own once she gets on the station, and she's fresh out of school. She has 4 degrees. She's 28 years old. She's spent her entire life in university. And so for me, believable character that comes into her own as a woman and then becomes an ass-kicking, awesome person. So I love DC Fontana. I worship the ground she walks on, Clobby. So nice to have her here. I love her.
It was lovely to see her do that. See that name in those credits there. So, well, what do you rate the episode? What is your rating for the episode Dax number 1?
A+.
A+. Excellent. Well, I have it at a B+. I love it. I think it's great. I mean, I like it a lot. I think it's great. I mean, I have nothing bad to say about it. It is a very wonderfully written, I don't want to say mystery, I guess, but I mean, sort of a courtroom drama, and that's a lot of great concept in it now. So I think it's excellent,
and just
it's a great character study.
Yeah, and when you're thinking of this, Clobby, you're an author as well. Just think about how wonderful this writer's room is, even though Jean's not there. Instead of groping around trying to take other people's ideas, or trying to find Oscar Wilde, or trying to find Charles Dickens and massage it and make something else. Instead, this writer's room is working. We've got some science fiction authors on hand here, and we're really working at clever ways of telling the stories of our characters and introducing these characters. And so they must have had all these characters loaded up to show us who they are, and to come up with all these different clever stories in order to showcase them and test their morals and their ethics and their personalities in our minds. Just very, very good work. This is how you write science fiction. This is how you write science fiction. This is how you write Star Trek. I love you, DC Fontana.
It's how you write science fiction. It's how you write Star Trek, and it's how you introduce characters. We haven't asked for the ratings yet, everybody, but now we will. Everyone, okay, please. The word is now being given. Give your, and for everyone, wait till I give the word from now on, if you would. We appreciate you, though. Thank you for being here. The word is now given. Please give your any rating you might have and any words you may have about the episode Dax. Now, number 1, if you will take the star point,
I got you,
will bring us some Max Redstone entertainment. How about that?
Let's do it! Maximum Redstone.
Indeedishness. Dax by the great Maximum Max Redstone. He says, all the lives in Jadzia's past, and the memories her Trill has amassed. She says she'll do the time for Curzon's alleged crime, just to avoid putting his old side piece on blast. Wow.
Wow.
Well done, Max. He is just surpassing himself tonight.
Go, Max. Go, Max.
Oh. We have more reviews now already than we had in that last one. Or not quite. We don't have as many reviews as we've been getting. On that first one, even. That's weird. Anyway, Midnight's Oblivion says A. Thank you, Midnight's Oblivion. Your Old Toys with another A+ rating. Thank you, Your Old Toys. Masters, Maniac Mexico. A stable A. And I guess he means it's like in a stable wormhole. I get
it. That's very clever.
Pleasant Valley Picker says B. Don't remember it. Still introduces a major character and does it well from what you were saying. So I give it a decent rating. Dax was never a favorite character, so maybe why it's a B.
Okay.
Okie dokie. And Don't get me wrong, Dax was a very interesting character. If I rewatched her character again, it may grow on me. DC was a great writer for sure. Just
She was.
indeed, she was. Wendy Webb says, "Hey, I wish I had rewatched this. I always found Dax to be an interesting character. The amount of depth we learned about Dax was brilliant. Alcohol would ruin the episode."
Wendy, love you, honey.
I
That's
suppose
funny.
so. Hungry for that Kira sassiness and strut hubba hubba. Hungry Boy gives it an A. I guess that's a separator, not an A minus. Big DC Fontana fan. So when others say what I would say, what I would have say, when others say what I would have said. Sorry, I need to look at this. I need to move my screen back farther. Closer to me. I put on my cappy foom, as in Friends of Old Marvel, toupee and say, "Nuff said, Excelsior." Globby gets the jokes. I do. Sorry, I ruined it there for you. Should I say?
No,
like
I think your only mistake was that you mispronounced his title. I believe you pronounced it Hubba Hubba, but I believe it's not pronounced that way. I believe it's Hubba Hubba.
I'll let you take care of that part. I'll go on mispronouncing it then. Nuff said, Excelsior, true believers. Yeah, he's quoting crappy foom toupee. Hungry Boy was the best. Shooter number 8323 says, C+, not my fave. This reminds me of Measure of a Man a bit. Courtroom drama in space involving a complex question of identity. Not a fan of the ending, but it establishes that Curzon wasn't a saint. That is for sure. No. I hear you, sir. I hear you. Wolfie says, rating A. A great start for the Dax lineage. Not the last we hear about Curzon by a long shot, and that's a good thing. Yes, I love Curzon Dax, even though you never really get to see him other than that one episode where Oda. Well, not right. Michael Beacom says, A+. Every time a writer of the filth wants to get smug about how they invented insert your diversity signal here, I want them strapped into what is a Ludovico?
I have no idea.
I don't know what a Ludovico is. Ludovico chair. Okay, chair. It's a chair and made to watch this episode. It must not be a very fun chair.
Hey, Tim's Talk. Good evening, fine sir.
Hello there, Tim's Talk. Good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in. Let's see here. This is how you explore identity concepts in a science fiction setting.
Yes.
This is how you address biological, philosophical, legal ideas. Wow.
Yes.
Ideas. Remember them?
Yes.
Maybe vaguely. What terrific organic flowing character revelations. Saw this back in the day, but found the revisit so enjoyable. No pew or explosions like uncontaminated.
Yes.
Air.
Michael
Well
Beacom.
done, Michael Beacom.
Outstanding review. Outstanding.
Outstanding indeed, sir. B-. Dax is all right, says Inax Mandabear. Thank you so much. Farntremont Schreiber says, B, and Curzon Dax was Cisco's mentor and who was Curzon's role model? I don't know. Seems like a certain Federation Captain James T. Kirk, as Curzon was apparently Trill Kirk. There you go, sir. And he says, the Ludovico process is when they strapped Malcolm McDowell with his eyes pried open so he could not look away. If that he's referring to the film Clockwork Orange.
I was imagining something like that, although I have not seen the Clockwork Orange.
It's a very fascinating film. I would probably suggest you might not want to watch it.
Everyone tells me not to watch it because they say there's way too much violence in it for me.
It's all about violence.
Yeah.
But now, if you will take point, we have only one review left, it looks like, and it's, of course, our great friend, Enigmatic Drop Bear.
Well, let's do it. Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear, dropping mics all over the place tonight. He's got a two-parter here, and he's going to go ahead and give this episode a B-. He says, the Trill are uniquely positioned to tell a tale about holding a symbiont to account for actions involving a prior host, and the story is quintessentially science fiction. You got it. I agree, sweetheart. The execution let down the story a little. The pacing was a little off, and some of the dialogue could have been a little more polished. Farrell's performance, however, was appropriately nuanced. Yes, she's sexy. She's gorgeous. I love the way she plays this character. And yes, thank you so much for that wonderful review, Enigmatic Drop Bear. Love, love, love it.
It also featured Gregory Ensign, who just recently passed, the actor. So that's all the reviews. I don't know what happened. Nobody's reviewing. We haven't. Nobody's mirror as many as we've been having. Weird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, it's all right though. Eric K with a $2 super chat says Clockwork Orange is about the ultraviolet. Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of the film. It's Stanley Kubrick and it won Best Picture. It was nominated for Best Picture.
Oh, but, Hungry Boy. Okay, honey. Thank you, sweetheart. I love you. You're such a good friend to me. Yeah, I won't watch it. I promise. Always just telling me about the stuff that I won't like about it because he doesn't want me to get upset. So I love you, and I promise I will not watch it. You are like my very close friends who were like, "Yeah, that's not a show for you, Raquel."
Yeah, it's messed up. Anyway.
Dun, 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 dun.
So, well, are we ready to move on to our final episode of the night? Apparently, no more reviews. Going once, going twice. Oh well. Okay, time for our final review of the night, folks. And the episode is called The Passenger.
The Passenger. It is season 1, episode 9. It's actually episode 8. The only reason why I've changed it to 9 is for the benefit of people who at home who would get confused. But if you're a diehard Trekkie and you just want to know the truth, it's actually episode 8. Anyways, prod code 409. We all watched this for the very first time on February 22nd, 1993. And because that amazing gift that Clobby got for me hasn't arrived yet. Unfortunately, folks, I have to read extemporaneously from the user-generated site known as Wikipedia. I will be reading from the plot section, and the article is called The Passenger, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. And now that we're copyright compliant, extemporaneous we shall go. Extemporaneous we shall go. Hi ho the. Yeah, let's just do this. En route back to the station in a runabout, Major Kira and Dr. Bashir respond to a distress call from a Cobb-Liad freighter and find Ty Kajada, a security guard, and her prisoner, Rao Vantika. Kajida or Kajada tells them Vantika started a fire on the ship in an effort to escape. Vantika or Vantika, they say it both ways on the show. Vantika dies, and Bashir and Kira take Kajida or Kajada back to Deep Space Nine, where she becomes convinced that he is still alive. He has faked his death many times before, and Kajada or Kajada has spent most of her adult life tracking him. Bashir and Lieutenant Dax come to believe that Vantika or Vantika consciously may be hiding in Kajida's brain without her knowledge. Vantika or Vantika has indeed taken on another body, and he contacts Quark, a bartender with criminal contacts, to hire mercenaries to hijack an upcoming shipment of duridium, a compound Kobliads desperately need to survive. Later, when Quark meets with the mercenaries, they are interrupted as Kajida falls from the second floor of Quark's bar while eavesdropping on them. In the infirmary, Kajida reveals that the real Vantika pushed her. Dax finds a device under the dead Vantika's fingernails that he used to transfer his consciousness to someone else and tests Kajida for signs of the device's use. Meanwhile, Quark and the mercenaries meet with the real Vantika in the body of Bashir. One step ahead of the crew's investigation, Vantika and the mercenaries manage to gain control of the freighter carrying the duridium. The station traps the freighter in a tractor beam, but Vantika threatens to destroy the freighter along with Bashir's body. One of the mercenaries objects to such a plan, prompting Vantika to shoot him. Dax is unable to disrupt Vantika's control over Bashir's body long enough. Dax is able, to disrupt Vantika's control over Bashir's body long enough for a confused Bashir to lower the freighter's shields and allow himself to be transported to the infirmary. Once Vantika's consciousness is removed from Bashir's brain, Kajeda, whatever the hell, formally takes possession of Vantika's stored consciousness and destroys it, and thus rids herself of him once and for all. So what did you think of this episode, The Passenger?
Well, you all know that I'm a silly old comic book geek. And this episode was written by geeks who've read too many comic books. And I mean that as a compliment. It's goofy. It's kind of a silly story, but you have Lex Luthor, basically. You have a supervillain. I kind of like the whole Vantika concept. I'm sorry. I mean, it's right out of a comic book. Probably doesn't belong on Deep Space Nine, to be perfectly honest with you. He's like the Master from Doctor Who. That's what I kept thinking of. I mean, because he's extended. You've got this woman who's been chasing him for 20 years. He's a supervillain, always finding ways to extend his life. He's obsessed with it. Hello, pop culture curator. How you doing?
Hello.
And so it was pretty silly. And by the way, I thought it was pretty entertaining as well. It is a relatively innocuous, entertaining episode with a pretty interesting idea, I guess. But it's pretty dopey too. I mean, let's just be honest. It's not like a substantive episode like we're talking about when we're talking about Captain Pursuit. I saw that, or Dax, if you know what I mean. Yeah, thank you for the $5 super chat, Eric. You're too kind.
Sorry, I had to put it up. It's funny.
Let's call the whole thing off.
You say Kajida. I say Kajida. Let's go. Anyway.
Nice.
I love you, Eric.
But yeah, again, by the way, I mean, I thought it was there was a certain charm to the silliness of this episode for me, that it was like he was like a comic book villain, which is, I'm a big comic book geek. But this is like Deep Space Nine being visited by a supervillain in the 24th century who could, just the most. He's the Master. He's Moriarty. He's all these weird. He's that kind of that kind of baddie. And transplanting his mind into Bashir was kind of funny. And when she destroys his image away at the end, when she blows, I'm going thinking, have we seen the last of him, or is he inside of her? And we just don't know. This guy's like the greatest, most diabolical genius ever. He's Professor Moriarty, the Master. He's Lex Luthor. He's all these things. So I found the episode kind of a guilty pleasure, kind of a fun thing because of that mystery going on. There was some interesting stuff, but it's right out of comic books. And so I say, what the hell? Probably, I've heard people rag on it and say it's a stupid, and it is pretty dopey, but I thought it was fun. I admit it. No, I'm silly. So go ahead and what notes?
Well, I of course made a note of the Vantika thing. I don't care.
That's what a villain name.
Pardon?
That's a great villain name too, Vantika.
Yeah, Vantika. And Dax calls him Vantika. Anyway, this is horrible acting by Alexander Siddig. I love him. I actually love Alexander Siddig. I think that he is such a wonderful person. The way that he talks about Star Trek, the way that he talks about the honor of, like the honor and the pleasure of being an adult pretender who gets paid money for it. I think that he is such a sweet person. And I love that he has perspective. He has respect for himself and others. And he actually is a decent actor, but he's terrible in this. His speech pattern for the Vantika, the Rao character, is absurdly bad. Like, like it's just so bad. It's so bad. It's like you can't even concentrate on it. It's so bad. It's really super bad. Like I think my offspring, when my offspring had like a grade 2 play at school, there was better acting. It was so bad. It's so bad. Like, it's funny. Like, you just burst out laughing. Whenever he starts talking, you just start laughing.
Trying to chew the scenery is not his thing.
Yeah, and I wrote in my notes, this is a fun concept, but it's just too funny to take seriously. It's just too goofy to take seriously. And Alexander Siddig does not help with his odd speech pattern and the way that he moves his lips, like somebody's going to put a pacifier in his mouth. It's terrible.
So you're
This,
saying don't cast him as a comic book villain.
yeah, don't.
It's actually been
And
done
this
on
gets
something else, but yeah, go ahead.
Yes, and I am aware that this often gets voted the worst DS9
Does it
episode of
really?
all time. So it's often voted the
Really?
worst.
I didn't
Um,
know that.
I wish that it didn't get voted that. I don't think this is science fiction. I did write in my notes that I found that this was a comic book villain, that Alexander Siddig
Did you
is
really?
not someone who should play a comic book villain. The acting is so bad. The acting is so bad. Like, I wish I could play excerpts just so people could like, oh my God, it's so
You mean
bad.
just by Alexander, not everybody else.
Yeah, everyone else their acting is amazing.
And that's my
But
girl there, but I forget her name, by the way. She was from Babylon 5. Was it Caitlin? Oh, why am I forgetting her name now? Where are you at, Zathras?
Caitlin Brown.
Caitlin Brown, yes, from Babylon 5. She was
Yeah.
from, she got killed, but she was a Narn.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just his acting is so bad. And I love him. He is, as many of you know, I'm always pointing out the fact that, you know, he sort of felt left out when everybody was acting like he wasn't a North African, that he wasn't a Sudanese person, because his mom is, of course, Malcolm McDowell's sister. So people don't realize that he has like 17 names, and I'm often reading all of his beautiful North African names out, but he is half Sudanese, and he's a marvelous person, and I think that he has been such a great person to be an ambassador for Star Trek. And his acting is decent. He's a good actor and a kind and a good person. But this episode is so bad. Like, why didn't they should have just burned it. Scuba Pete!
Scuba Pete and Mr. Angel here. What's up, Chef?
Hey, good evening, Chef.
Hello,
yeah,
my friends. Hello,
horrid. Horrid.
Oh my man! I guess I don't know. I'm silly, but since you've called for it, this is for Alexander's acting from number one.
Crap, 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 crap. It's so bad. Like when I was studying radio and when I was teaching radio, one of the tricks for orality to, you know, help people escape their own voice is to put a pencil in your mouth and then deliver a speech or say something, you know, prepared. And that helps you to draw your voice out of your body. The entire time he's talking as this comic book villain, it's like I picture him having, I don't know what they call it in the United States. Here we call it a pacifier or a sucky or a dummy. And you have to remember that when I was very young, I grew up around some extremely Irish people. So I don't know what normal people call it.
Like a baby thing, like a pacifier?
Yeah. That's what I picture him having in his mouth instead of a pencil. Why is he doing that with his lips? I don't know if Nana was like what Nana Visitor was dating him at this point, but she should have just slapped him so he stopped doing that with his mouth. See, in Australia they call it a binky. So it's like he has and I like that because that's it's got a demeaning quality to it. He sounds like he has a binky in his mouth. It's terrible.
I mean, I just want to make that clear. That was just for her. That Club Bonnie was just for good old Alexander's portrayal in this episode. According to, I didn't even really spot anything she's saying, but that was for number one to get her point across of how
bloody awful
performing. I didn't even faze me. I guess I didn't really pay attention to his performance that much, but I hear you. I mean, I didn't even really noted this particularly in one way or the other. I guess, but it's on me.
You do not hand over this ship, I will be forced.
He is pretty bad. Now that I mentioned it,
it's terrible.
Fantica.
Head desk, head desk.
Maybe they should have brought Vantica back.
Or the other way of pronouncing it, Vantika.
Vantica, the greatest supervillain from whatever planet that was from. Oh boy.
Oh,
anyway,
I know what planet he's from.
Mm.
He's super villain from the planet Binky.
From the planet Supervilia. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Anyway, so I even have to ask, what is your rating of the episode, The Passing Girl?
I mean, I want to give it a C-, but I just could not bring myself to give it a C-. So like an actual teacher, I did give it a D+. I didn't give it a D, I gave it a D+. So it was almost a C-, but the acting is so bad. What in the fresh hell am I watching? Why are you talking like you have a binky in your mouth? I'm going to fast forward this crap.
Now I got to watch that again and see it.
It's bad.
I want to watch that over just to see what the... Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. No, I give it a C+. I didn't hate it as much as you did. And I kind of like the fact that they had this, that they actually had the nerve to make an episode with a stupid... and look, you know I love comics and I love supervillains, but in Star Trek, I never think you should have really an over-the-top villain. You could make the case that Khan was as close to a supervillain as you got. Of course, he's great. You know, Ricardo Montalban, the performance is brilliant, and it's not over the top because he's brilliant. But other than that, it wasn't a big villain of the week type stuff that much. They're adversaries and antagonists, yes. But an out-and-out cornball, transfer his mind into other people, extending his life all the time, all that stuff they were talking about, like a guy was experimenting on people like he did, like what's her name? The lady said that she'd been chasing him for 20 years. It sounded like a superhero, a comic book superhero, supervillain thing. Mr. Tickle Trunk is here.
I love Mr. Tickle Trunk.
Bayer will be a Dr. Dinky from henceforth. Wow.
Bashir will be Dr. Dinky for me henceforth. I love you, Mr. Tickle Trunk. How are you, sweetheart?
Good to see you, Mr. Tickle Trunk, and thank you for the $2 super chat. You are too kind. Appreciate you. So I thought it was just so silly and almost audacious in the sense that they would go, all right, this is the script we're doing. This is going to be like I don't know who sat around going, yeah, what comic book did you read this in? But again, this is not me trashing comics. I love comics. You know it.
I can't afford the suite right now, the Photoshop suite, but I would just absolutely love it if someone put a dummy, a soother, a pacifier, a blinky, whatever the heck you want to call it, just bouncing in his mouth while he's talking. Wow. I so wish I could afford Photoshop right now because I would Photoshop that.
Old Alexander.
Do you know what I mean? If I had the software, I would make that a video, and I would put voiceover on it.
Wow.
I would put voiceover on it. I would get possibly Count Chocula, and I would put Count Chocula over top as the voiceover.
You never cease to amaze me. You always surprise me somehow. I thought you might not like the episode, but I never know quite what you're going to say, which makes it so much fun. And I gave it a C+. Now I'll ask my friends and our good friends in the chat, please, any ratings you may have of The Passenger and any words you may have. And number one, we'll start getting those ready while I give it some Max Redstone entertainment.
Maximum Redstone.
Yes, indeed. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, excuse me. The Passenger by the great Maximum Max Redstone. A mind-shifting prisoner causing a mess. Barely intriguing. And I must confess, my heart was soured to hear that Dr. Julian Bashir was the center of a story that had no finesse. Wow, again. Well done. The extraordinary Max Redstone, dude. You're just knocking it out of the park today. He's not even here, but we'll have to get the thanks. I'll thank him for sure because he's just doing an extraordinary job with those lyrics. Okay, now Wendy Webb says,
love this one.
I don't remember this episode, and since I didn't do my homework, I'm going with Raquel on this one. I'm giving it a slobbery binky. Fair enough.
My love to Wendy and Jimmy.
Indeedishness. Phantom outsider was one, says C. Siddig actually did a different voice accent while possessed. They didn't like how it sounded, and they didn't like how it sounded, so they had him re-record the lines and dubbed him. That's why dialogue and acting don't match. Not his fault. I don't know that. Okay.
That's
Well,
not confirmed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's true or not, but okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's hope it is. Let's hope it's true.
I hope it's true. Wouldn't it be great if it were true? Anyway.
Yes, we'd have to blame him so bad, huh? C minus says Pleasant Valley Picker. He says, any story where they have a 20-year chase is like, why didn't you kids just settle down and make babies by now? Sorry, I just can't take it seriously. Still, if you enjoy it, why not joy?
Yeah.
Shooter says B minus. Not that bad of an episode. It is interesting with the paranoid security agent Odo butting heads with Lieutenant Fremen. Reference to the Rathacon and Spock transferring his consciousness was subtly added. Thank you so much, Shooter. Mr. Angel says, one dinky, ha ha ha, two dinkies, ha ha ha. The count would go nuts over that.
One dinky, two dinkies,
You and the Binkies. You had to start the Binky stuff. It's never going to stop me. I hope you're happy. Michael Beacom says C minus. First disappointing episode. Wow, we have an escaped supervillain. How will we transport him? I know, in a shuttle with only one security officer, not in stasis. There were two other people on the thing, though.
Hardcore science fiction fan. No stasis? What's your problem, man?
True.
WTF?
There were two other people.
Michael and
there were two other people on that thing, but on the ship that got killed. But yeah. I hate when the plot bends circumstances for a wanted outcome. Oh yeah, obviously. Boy, so do I. I would say throw it through the wormhole, but we don't want to give the Gamma Quadrant an excuse to counterattack. Good for it, Michael.
Great review, Michael.
Rating B for hungry for Kira's sassiness and strut hubba. B for Binky. Oh well, at least I enjoyed the 1940s inspired hairstyles for Kija. Aussie pronunciation. I'm not going to try that one, buddy. Thank you. Your Old Toys says A. Not that bad of an episode. There were a couple of downfalls, but overall good episode. Thank you, Your Old Toys. Thank you so much. And they called him Scuba Pete. Says C plus. So help me God, I will turn this space station around and take us right back to TNG, mister.
Scuba. It's bad when you make me do the ugly laugh. That was chef's kiss. That was such a good review.
We have so few reviews on these episodes tonight. Nobody likes the show anymore, I guess. I mean, I'm talking about either our show or their show. But go for it with the last. Go up for the last one. Number one, we have the great Enigmatic Drop Bear. Go for it.
I love this. I bet you Enigmatic Drop Bear has a review coming.
Oh, okay. It's up there. It's started.
Okay, got it. Oh, come on. It keeps jumping. Hold on. There we go. I have the worst headache. Rest of the cast laugh. Cliche. Ding! I love you. Oh, so funny. You got Wolfie on deck, boss.
Oh, I thought you were going to do ED.
Oh, is he in the starred column?
Yes.
Hey, how did I miss that?
I don't know. I didn't store him. You did.
Oh, well, I must be on autopilot. I'm hysterical. Okay, Enigmatic Drop Bear, the erudite bear. He's dropping the mic on this one. He's got a two-parter. He's going to go ahead and give this of an episode a B. He says, I'm a sucker for transhumanism. Yeah, so am I. I'm a sucker for transhumanism stories. And a device that can persist and transmit consciousness is top shelf fodder for my imagination. Ooh, I will keep that in mind. And, you do have good taste. You realize this, right? And 2 of 2. Objectively, though, this episode was not particularly well written. Cliches were numerous and unsubtle, and the director was clearly missing in action. Chalk this one up to a guilty pleasure. So he thought it was a guilty pleasure, just like you did, boss.
That's what my exact feeling on it. I thought it was kind of just a guilty pleasure. I liked that it was a stupid supervillain. I don't know why. Just the comic book geek in me. I know he's not even a comic book geek, but it's just kind of. I'd like to see Vantica come back. I mean, he's the master. Yeah. Doctor Who. He's Moriarty. He's Lex Luthor. It's crazy.
He's all wrapped up in one with a blinky or a binky or a dummy or a sucker in his mouth. Mr. Angel, I love you. Thank you.
What?
Oh, nothing. He's firing at will here.
Mr. Tickletruck says D. 2 binkies out of 5. This episode's largest. Positive is that it's not a certain episode that we've seen soon. I won't stop. Move along home. Chris Purchase says, what could have been an interesting episode befitting of a pulp mystery was dropped to a C- because due to Dr. Binky's performance as Vantica. I got to admit, I must be just clueless. It didn't really faze me, but your reaction to it is fantastic.
I love you, Chris Persia. I love you so much.
Wolfie says, B-. This episode is surprisingly entertaining until the weird speech at the end by taking over Bashir. I do like the dynamic between Odo and the Fed security. Yeah, we know who's in charge. Yeah, I do like some of that stuff. And in the way that Cisco kind of definitely backed up Odo on that. Anyone else get a silence? Maybe probably means Silence of the Lambs vibe from this bad guy. Science of the Lambs is a good thing. Yeah. That's a Wolfieism. Sorry, I almost thought it was a typo, but no. Science of the Lambs vibe from this bad guy. Yes. Or Red Dragon as the first literary appearance of Dr. Lecter. Yes, it was. Very good. Just one more thing, Senator. Love your suit. Wow.
Wolfie.
Nice.
That was outstanding.
A great chief engineers popped in at the last moment there. Good to see you, dude. Hey, Mark D with a C says C+. That's what I gave it. Story has potential, but this one was a swing and a miss. I don't want to be a passenger on this space station. Beam me up, Scotty. Wow. A rare not so high retreat.
I love that the erudite bear is in the chat currently, just naming all the cliches and then putting up the icon for it. There's a little check mark. It's great. I love it. Oh, I love it. Love it. Love it. Oh.
Yep, that's great. So, yeah. What's up, Markle D? We didn't get your reviews of the other ones, but you can tell us later if you want to show up.
Mark
if you want to visit, you might be busy. You might be doing something, but I'll send you the link anyway, dude. If you feel like it, because I don't know if he's even back yet.
Asking ye shall receive. I'll be right back. I'm just going to mute my thing for just 2 wags of a dog's tail because Chris Persia sent me something. Hold on.
Oh no! See, what did you do, buddy? Chris, did you do something bad? Okay, I sent you the link, Marty. Oh, I know. I bet I know what he did. We shall see, folks. So yeah, I guess we're done with that episode. Not as many reviews as usual, which is okay. It works. That's fine. We had a lot of reviews on the first one, but even less than usual. Everybody must be busy tonight, or maybe everybody stopped caring about Deep Space Nine. Or I don't know what it is. No, doesn't matter though. Yo, dude.
Hey, hello. Thank you for letting me beam aboard. Yeah, just back from a fun party. So caught the tail end. So it's not Saturday night with a little bit Saturday night Star Trek with you guys. So,
well, what did you think of? Just your quick rating of of Captain Pursuit.
I really like Captain Pursuit. Although the one thing that I thought was crazy was when they sent O'Brien to meet Tosh. Is it Tosh? The alien. Tosh, thank you. with like no security guards in the background.
That's
No,
weird, but they didn't want to scare the guy who was the first.
Yeah, it was scary, but like have maybe a few people. O'Brien's not war.
At least Odo should have been there with him.
Yeah, some of them. That's just a
O'Brien
nitpick. But I love that episode. Q-list was, we got Vosh again. I give that like a B. It wasn't a. I mean, of course, the best part is when you're not Picard, right? It's like when he punches Q.
Picard never hit me.
Picard never hit me. He's like, I'm not Picard.
You're not. You're much easier to provoke. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So and Dax.
Dax, I like that as a murder mystery. Much better job than Passengers. So probably like and of course that's DC Fontana too. So doing the teleplay. So
gotcha.
Anything with DC Fontana, but this Passenger's probably the first stinker so far, and I guess everyone's rating that. When I was reading about that, that's one of the lowest rated episodes of Deep Space Nine. So there's not too many.
Which one, the Passenger?
The Passenger, yeah. As I was reading, some
I
interwebs.
That.
Yeah, it's rated as one. Some people rate it as the worst out of all the episodes.
Oh.
So I think Bashir, as much as I like Siddig, he's really clunky in these first episodes. He's really trying to find his feet more than some of the other actors, although he hits his stride later on. But I think he's just not great in some, in this episode, and with trying to pick up Dax, it's kind of awkward in the beginning. It's fun, but he's not hit his stride. You can tell like O'Brien's got a grasp of his character, and Sisko of course does, and Kier. But I think he's the shakiest. Although I do end up really liking him later down the line. But it's a good start to the season other than this episode and the series too. So it was like, how are they going to make this interesting on a space station? And each week, especially with Captain Pursuit, that was so cool having an alien come from the Gamma Quadrant.
Episodes.
Yeah,
I really love that episode.
good twist too, and it's not and it's just not Predator either. It's an interesting
twist.
It's
a lot more to it than that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, a hungry boy that Jill's not here. Doesn't hear from her. Hope she's okay.
Oh no, she's wonderful. She's wonderful, but she has something to do tonight. Yeah. And that's I wasn't sure if I was allowed to say what it was, so I just decided to be quiet.
Do that. But, we love Jill. She'll be there when she can.
Yeah, we miss her. Yep.
She's doing something fun and cute.
Cool. She's okay, though. She's okay. Yeah.
Look at this.
She's horrible. At a math contest or something.
Yeah. This is horrible. You got to be ashamed of yourself, first person. 4 O's is Alexander.
Well, what did you think of his acting in the
beginning
of this season,
not a villain?
Raquel?
I'm a villain. I'm a villain. Please take me seriously. I'm a villain.
I didn't even understand. I guess when I didn't really faze me one way or the other how it was in the episode. I guess it really stuck with you though. Apparently,
D-Bud Martin has to leave. He says my eyes are drying.
Oh, D-Bud, take it easy, man.
Too late last night. This is all Tom's fault. Have a good night, everybody. Good night, D-Bud.
Take it easy, D-Man.
Take care, D-Bud.
Good to see you, bud.
But what do you think of his? I don't know if you're here, Raquel, listening, but
I was.
Yeah. What did you think of Siddig's? I think his acting's pretty shaky in these first few episodes. Or is that just me?
Yeah, but I also think that it's their fault because instead of giving him this exposition, like instead of showcasing what he is as a character, they sort of fiddle around with him at first. They sort of make him like a handsy creepo, like Rico Suave or like Don Juan or whatever. And you're kind of I don't think they're sure what to do with him.
Yeah.
That's true of all the characters early on in some cases.
But O'Brien gets out wonderful.
Yes.
The way they packaged our introduction to him, he's just magnificent. Having DC Fontana package the Trill for us, and then also have all of these characterizations through all of these relationships. This show don't tell, and for all of that to happen in such a small amount of time on this little Italy-piddly TV show, this very short TV show, I think is quite an accomplishment for DC Fontana. But some of the other characters are not getting off to such a great start, and they haven't had these dedicated episodes to showcase them so far. And I'm not about to spoil it for everyone, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I think that our man Bashir, it takes a while for the DS9 writers' room.
I really like the character, though.
Yeah, he ends up being a great character. Yeah.
Well, I love him. I think that he's a wonderful character. I think that he's a wonderful person as far as being an ambassador for Star Trek goes. I think he's a class act and a real sweetheart. And it's a shame. Terrible. This is awful. This is awful. Well, I'm sure he must cringe every time he sees it.
Mr. Alexander, in all of your names, I respect them all. I just want you to know, because I know you're watching tonight, I did not make this picture. And I've not been the one being mean to you like Raquel has been. I love your character, and I think you're a fine actor. And none of this is my fault, except me. Yes, it's on my show. But I just want you to know, not all of us are against you.
I'm not against him. I love him, but his acting is terrible in this episode. Alexander, you have to admit this is pretty darn awful. I don't know what happened, honey. I don't know if you were dubbed or not. I don't have the book that Clobby bought me. I will try and find some original source material and vet that. If it isn't your fault, I'm sorry, but you still represent the binky supervillain for me from now forever.
So what episode do you find? When do you find out he's been genetically engineered? Is that second season, or is that
Dr. Bashir, I presume?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's when he starts his character starts to hit his stride. Oh no, it's got to be a lot earlier than that.
I think his character is okay right now, and it gets better and better even earlier.
Yeah, well, I'm mixing episodes up. Then so that's 4 years in that you find that
his
out.
His character starts getting better.
Oh, Shooter's complaining about spoilers. And Shooter should be complaining about spoilers. I love you, Shooter. Thank you. Yes, remember, we have multiple people here who have never watched this show.
Sorry.
It's okay. Shooter says he's not upset. Yeah. It's late. And so we can start to forget that we have our people here who are watching it the first time around. Thank you so much, Shooter.
Thank you, Shooter. I was not aware that we had anybody watching it for the first time.
Oh, we have like 4 people.
Oh, okay. That's good to make a note of. Yep. Yep.
I had no idea. No, I mean, someone mentioned it. I don't remember. So there you go.
But anyway, yeah, his character does develop into a much better. But like a lot of shows too, it's takes a while to hit their stride. And but this show is, I think, off to a pretty good start relative to TNG when you think about it. So it's they kind of know they know what they're doing now, and they're not phoning it in like that 7th season of TNG. So it's and of course it's cool when you think about it. The more I'm rewatching this, you can see that it's it's a Kardashian station too, which is a nice touch too, and all the doors and the devices.
You mean Cardassian, not Kardashian.
What did I say? Oh God, did I just say that? Oh my God, it's late. I did have a couple of drinks tonight, just to clarify. Oh my gosh, the horror. Someone please don't clip that. Yeah.
By the way, everyone, next week's episodes will be everyone's favorite episode, Move Along Home, Vortex, Venegas, and Battle Lines. So there you go. I know someone in the chat earlier mentioned that their favorite episode was Move Along Home. Which one of you was that? I can't remember now.
I don't know.
Is there speed chess in that episode?
There's a Shooter. Shooter, that's your favorite episode, right? Was that you? One of you said it was a masterpiece.
It's not Shooter sent him.
Was that
Wolf Kardashian station. Lots of lip gloss dispensers, and I won't read the rest. Yeah.
Oh, look at what Mr. Tickle Trunk said. I'm going to put it up on the marquee. He says, Move Along Home made me second guess my life choices and what else I could have been doing that night. I saw it for the first time.
So was that good, huh? Wow. You're saying you loved it so much that you wish that you had made that episode. And since you did, you could not be given any credit for taking that episode. You just didn't want to even go on breathing because it was just so important. That episode was just too good. Boosh McFadden also says, Move Along Home is so special.
Oh man,
that he wishes that he could take credit for another one. It just
Boosh!
That loves that episode that much. Okay, two could play that game. Let's see here.
Do you want to read that one
Mark,
for me, please,
Mark, please. I understand Dr. Binky's performance wasn't that good, but to interject with the Kardashians, some shin kicks are necessary.
Shin kicks.
I didn't even watch that show and see what they've done to our popular culture. My God, you can't escape them. They're everywhere. Like you don't want to read about them, and you get they show up on all your feeds. Oh God, help us.
Pleasant Valley Picker. You know, we have things to do. I mean, now you're doing it all yelling at me here. Let's see. Well, okay, I'm going all caps. I have told Clobby several times. Look, I read all the chats. I can't stop everything and read them all. Can you understand that? Times now that I've watched the first 3 episodes of Blake 7 and loved it. Thank you. And he has missed them all. Blake 7 is awesome, Club. I'm glad you think it's awesome. I agree. I didn't miss him, but I couldn't interrupt Raquel to interject on like an open night or something. But when we're talking about Trek, I couldn't interrupt the flow. You understand? So, again, if I stopped every single chat and addressed them, we would be here all night. And I'm thrilled that you loved it. And then, hey, look, please keep going on them. And on a night where we could talk about it, I do want to hear your input about it. So it's not an intentional slight, buddy. I promise you. So why didn't you read 2000? The 2000? Is it that many? But yeah, Moving Along Home is a masterpiece. I'm just going to say it now, but I'm going to go ahead and spoiler next week.
That's the best episode of the series.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and spoiler. Yeah, I'm going to do more than that. I'm going to spoiler it right now for everyone. Moving Along Home is not only the greatest episode of Deep Space Nine, it is the greatest episode of Star Trek ever, of all. Better than every episode of the original series, TNG, Voyager, Enterprise, Deep Space Nine, all of them put together. It may be the single greatest bit of television show.
Boosh.
Actually, no. Pleasant Valley. I saw you mention it when you mentioned it the first time, and I was elated, and I wanted to stop and talk about it, but we were just doing stuff. So, believe me, you can't shut me up about. You should learn by now. You can't shut me up about Blake 7. It's all I talk about to the point where I drive people insane. So.
Yeah, we were just going to do the top 10 episodes the other night when we did the top.
No,
we did the top 52
I
again.
I wasn't. See, Pleasant. The thing is, nothing to be sorry about that, Pleasant. I'm just letting you know. But I love talking Blake 7, and I never like to stop. So if we haven't been already talking about Trek, all right, somebody has been hitting the binky hard tonight. So Move Along Home. In fact, next week I've decided that we're going to just review that, and we're going to review it 4 times. And then every week after that, instead of reviewing other episodes of Deep Space Nine, we're just going to review that one over and over again. In fact, we're going to name the show Saturday Night Move Along Home Show.
They actually showed this in the movie theater. When they did What We Left Behind, that included this episode in the theatrical showing. So played in 800 theaters and grossed over $380,000. So
it could make $1 million, Mark.
Yeah,
it could make $1 million.
Amazing. Yeah.
$1 billion. Yeah. It's that good, folks.
Wolfie.
What?
Nothing. Just I love our chat. Boosh. Let's move along to another episode.
Move Along Home. Yeah, move along episode.
Oh God, you guys make me cry. You got to
Thank you, Mr. Tickle Trunk says. Bobby, that's cruel and unusual punishment. I will soon be petitioning to make the rebroadcast of Move Along Home torture under Canadian law. They should take it off.
Enigmatic Draw Bear.
Yep, absolutely. I'm with you. I agree with you there, Pleasant Valley. Big time. Love it.
And everyone's got to practice their hopscotch for next week then, too.
Boosh. Several people died during the original airing after they tore out their own eyes and bled to death. You guys are awful. I love you.
You're just jealous because it's better than anything you've ever watched before.
Didn't that get nominated for an Emmy and multiple
Oh,
Emmys?
come on.
It did, yeah. It did. At least it's better than that terrible episode, Pale Moonlight. Which is one of the greatest episodes ever. So I'm not going to even kid there. And by the way, there are no binkies in Move Along Home either. What are you obsessed with this picture? I feel bad. What if he does turn on the YouTube?
It's okay. I'll take it down. I'm sorry.
You put it back up. I don't care.
It's just
If you enjoy it so much, put it up there.
Well, I was thinking we could have this to be like, if anyone complains too much, we could just put it up.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyway, sorry.
Wow.
The jokes are the jokes are fast and furious right now. It's a fake Pinky.
No, that's a bit too far there, Boosh.
I can't remember Move Along Home. Is it as good as Sub Rosa? I think better than Sub Rosa, actually. Yeah.
ED is probably a little bit better than Sub Rosa.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's toss up. It's probably better than. It might even be better than Masks.
Oh, pain.
It might even be better than which one? Wait a minute. Which was the one we decided was the worst TNG? And I can't remember now. It's been a couple weeks, but
the worst TNG?
Well, Mass was up there, Sub Rosa, and what was the other? The murder mystery one, or anything with Counselor Aquiel. Yeah,
that was pretty bad.
Oh, Man
that
of
was
the People.
pretty bad.
Yeah,
that was bad one.
I'll tell you in all seriousness about that, Edie. I don't think, including Move Along Home, I don't think there's a worse episode, an episode of DS9 that is as anywhere in the caliber of garbage as the worst D&G episodes. And I'm not making that. I'm not even being silly.
It's true.
Move Along Home is a masterpiece compared to Masks, and because it's just dopey and it's a dumb idea, and we'll review it next week.
Silly.
It's stupid, but I don't think you could be more putrid horror than some of those ones with TNG. I really don't think there's any DS9 episode that's that bad. Shades of Grey. What, you don't like Clips episodes?
Yeah.
So
the sex lamp.
This will be the challenge.
Sex rock.
I challenge you to find a worse episode of DS9 that's worse than as bad as the worst TNG. Yep. Now, there are a couple of original series episodes, if I'm being honest, like And the Children Shall Lead, and the
Alternative Factor.
Factor, Mark of Gideon, that are just, if they're not as bad as those bad TNGers, they're still pretty bad.
Hail.
But still,
friendly angel, we will blow. I mean, go.
Oops.
Oopies.
Whoops.
I'd still rather watch that than TNG stinkers, though, I have to say.
I'm with you, but I don't know. Mark of Gideon's tough to watch.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I mean, but
what about Justice, where Wesley avoids the death sentence? I mean,
okay, I'd rather watch more Mark of Gideon than that. Would you rather watch Alternative Factor or Mask?
100%. I would rather watch Alternative Factor.
Yeah. Lazarus's beard is in there.
Yeah,
true.
It's not really a beard, but I think it comes from a different part of the body and then wound up on his face. But yes.
Where's Toxic Man Flu when you need him?
Right? Where's TMF?
Yeah.
Where is the great TMF?
That was an hysterical review of it. If anyone hasn't seen that show, go back to the TOS's reviews and watch the one on Alternative Factor. Toxic Man Flu almost made me laugh to death during that episode. So in the chat, it was so hysterical.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah. And he kept changing his name to Lazarus's beard with other adjectives thrown in there.
Thank you, Wrenches. Thank you.
Unless the Space Vegetable Rebellion is jealous of Move Along Home, Lazarus fell through 5 more dimensions and still can't reach the heights of Move Along Home. Wow. I'm getting a sneaking suspicion that we're going to have some Clabonian going on next week. I don't know.
No spoilers.
Wow, I didn't expect that remark from our first officer. Oh yeah, about the alternative factor. Yeah, but think about it, Chris. We're together. We're watching Star Trek, and you're like, okay, well, none of my Star Trek is available. All I have is alternative factor or masks. What would you pick? I'm curious because, I've known you for about a year now. You're my friend. I care about you. You're very intelligent. I love the things you say. And we're both Trekkies. So tell me, which one would you choose? That's a tough one. That's a real stinker, but I think I would still rather take the real stinky corporate TOS over whatever the hell they were doing on TNG.
Snail Messiah, have a good night. Take it easy, bud.
Good night, Snail Messiah.
Yeah,
next week, chlamydia.
Alternative Factor has less of a good excuse to be crappy because it's first season.
It is. That's true. I know you always say that. It's true.
I mean, you could understand it if it were a third seasoner, but
yes.
And the thing is, that's the thing about Real Trek, the original series. There, other than Alternative Factor, there's not one in the first season that is bad. I mean, and not even bad, not even just sort of blah. I mean, for me anyway. I mean, there's some that aren't as great as others. Same with second season too. There's not some are better than others naturally, but there's not one I can't think of a terrible.
I haven't been listening, but if you ask me, when he begins, I can tell you exactly what he's eating. I know when he's eating cereal. I know when he's eating chips or popcorn. I know when he's eating M&Ms. I know when he's eating ice cream sandwich or things like that. I can always guess. But now you're asking me, and when I wasn't listening.
Did he ask you?
It's usually something really good. Like he loves M&Ms, he loves popcorn, and we all
sunflower seeds. No,
Bush. Everyone here is hardcore popcorn M&Ms people. All of us, surprisingly.
Indeed, it's just Mr. Angel. Have a good one. Good night. No apologies.
Good night, Mr. Angel.
Good night, Mr. Angel.
And I did actually. I guess I'll fess up, Bush, since you're such a detective. I have a Tootsie Pop.
Good stuff.
Then
I wasn't
just
listening.
needed something.
What's this? Mr. Angel says, I apologize. Gotta go. Have to make breakfast for my darling who's waking up grumpy. Time to put a smile on her face with pancakes.
Don't apologize for that. That's a good cause.
Way to be, buddy.
Mr. Angel, did you hear about my promise of pancakes to Mark?
Oh, yeah.
One day, I'll have to tell you that story. Just do me a favor. Man. Don't slap your beloved with an oversized pancake with extra butter on it.
Now I want pancakes.
I made a bad comparison the other night. Yep.
Yeah.
I might go to IHOP at 3 a.m. So.
Ooh, that would be good.
Well, I was at Restaurant Depot today, which is think of Home Depot for food. So I was cooking the barbecue today.
Really?
And they have it's commercial, because I use it for my business, so you can go in, and they had a 20-pound bag of chopped up Reese's peanut butter cups. If you're doing an ice cream sundae bar, and then they had a 20-pound bag of peanut butter M&Ms, which are my favorite. So I can't buy, and they have if you like Nutella, they have the commercial size Nutella. They have everything oversized. I'm oh God, if I come home with 20 pounds of peanut butter M&Ms, the wife is gonna kick me out. That's my downfall.
I have
peanut butter M&Ms with popcorn.
I think I am gonna make pancakes.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna make.
I can't make
pancakes
stuff. My son can now. I'll get my son to make. Not tonight.
Well, if you were here, I would make you pancakes, honey.
I appreciate that.
I'm 100%.
Would you use Bisquick or do you use pancake mix?
No, dude.
You make them from scratch?
Yes, of course. What's wrong with you?
Well, some people use pancake mix.
No, I'm definitely going to
smack
you with a pancake.
Well, most people don't make pancakes from scratch. I mean, most people aren't, go-getters like you, right?
It's not being a go-getter. You know how easy it is to make pancakes?
Yeah, you get the box that says
no.
2 cups of
all
water.
All you need is around, well, depending upon how thick you like your pancakes, because a lot of people like them super golden brown or super crispy. There's really not a lot going into pancake mix. Please don't buy pancake mix. You just want to have a nice light flour. You can use a heavier flour if you want, but you don't really need it. You need about a cup of flour, and about a teaspoon of salt, and about a teaspoon of baking powder, and some people add about a quarter of a teaspoon of sugar, a half teaspoon of sugar. I don't. And then you add 1 egg and about a cup of milk, and then you mix it up and you pour it in a pan with butter in it. You don't have to buy it.
You know what I do? I put maple syrup in my pancake mix. Is that cheating?
You what, honey?
I put the syrup in the mix.
What?
You're weird. That's
you better ask Mr. Angel about that.
Yeah, it's good.
You better ask consult Mr. Angel. He's the cook. He says pancake mix is the work of Satan. Jeez, how hard is it to make pancakes? Well, I wouldn't know how to make them anyway, but my son makes them. I don't know if he gets mix or whatever. I mean, but my mom makes them well.
Yeah, Mr. Angel, it's because like the pre-made stuff, like they're all non-restaurant people. You and I, we're restaurant people, so we can't ever imagine it. But yeah, there's so much I find the flour to be very heavy in pancake mix, and I also find it to be very, very sugary. There's no need for that, is there, Mr. Angel? And very, very easy to make. It's a 1-1-1-1. You don't really, and then you could do whatever you want to it. You could shave dark chocolate into the batter once you've poured them out. You can add fruit. You can and fry the fruit directly into it, which is nice because that extracts some of the juice from it. You can do all sorts of things with it. But yes, Mr. Angel and I, we're restaurant people, so we don't do that kind of stuff.
Hello there, Mark Lersteth. Hey there,
Mark,
and with that. As the great
Mr.
says.
Oh, sorry, I was just to say Mr. Angel likes my idea, and so did Mr. Tickle Trunks, eh?
Nope, that's a bad idea. Sugar burns, and I bet your stupid pancakes are raw in the middle. Pancakes.
No, they're delicious. You just add a little.
No,
they come out. All right, well, next time you come over, I'm making.
I don't know, Mr. Chef, the cook,
the chef likes the idea.
Yeah. Nope. Probably like pancakes that are raw in the middle.
Add M&Ms to the pancakes, of course.
Well, my specialty is I make apple pancakes, so I cut fresh apples up, and
went too far.
With a little bit of brown sugar and some butter, and you make your apple mix, and then you put that in the batter, and you make apple pancakes that way. That's always been a big hit with everyone. So good.
You must sweat the apples quite a bit, though, otherwise they would ruin your batter.
Michael, you have to do what? I do the same thing, yeah. But anyway. This is not the clubhouse, folks. All this food talk.
We've gone clubhouse. We can't go clubhouse more.
Yeah, well, we got done early.
Ruining the show.
We got done early. We just wanted to hang with everybody a little bit, doing a little extra hanging out. But we talked mostly Trek till it got the food.
Yeah. What would you replicate it? What would you replicate? Pancakes.
All right, now I'll replicate me some freaking pancakes because you keep talking about them.
And bacon.
Yes, bacon is very good. I'm going to 100% make bacon.
Yep.
Well. Show notes, and then we'll start saying our goodbyes. Everyone, tomorrow night, what you got going on, Markle?
Well, we got Sunday Night Geekery. I'm not sure what our big topic will be for the week, but we always find something to talk about. I just got some toys from my niece. They had those Kinder Joy. I'll show them on the clubhouse. Some cute Spider-Man and cute Iron Man. So we always figure something to talk about. Hopefully you can be there, and once in a while with Elsa. Yep. And,
all right, then. And everyone go to Mark's channel. He's got some videos, some enabling videos. There's some newer videos up there. Please go check those out, right?
Thank you. Yep, a couple new ones trying to get people to spend money, and I almost enabled someone the other day. So Eric K said I almost enabled them. So
good job. That's your job.
Which one? Yep.
Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. The great J-Man will be joining me. We will review have a Clobby's Classic Comics review, reviewing Batman number 321 by Len Wein, Walt Simonson, and Dick Giordano. Looking forward to that. I may have to make that a little bit earlier than usual because J-Man, doesn't need to stay up that late. So I'll probably do I may have to schedule a little bit earlier than usual, maybe an hour earlier than usual to facilitate that for our good friend J-Man. And Wednesday night. Wednesday night, I will be on. First, I'll be on the Loki's new comic book panel, show that he does at 7 p.m. Central. And then I'll be done just in time to do my Wednesday night wild card Wednesday night thingy.
Dun, 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 dun.
Fun. And then Thursday night we will have Clobby's Food Corner. I mean, Clubhouse.
I'm gonna make pancakes
with the crew.
We have one more Orville episode to review, right?
Yes, one more to go from the Orville episodes, and then of course after that next Friday morning I'll be on with Loki and the gang reviewing the Orville. So, and again, as I said, everyone, next week. What I do? Okay. How did that happen? Here we go. Next week, our episodes will be the classic Move Along Home, Vortex, the Negus, and Battle Lines. So there you go. And now, let us say some goodbyes to our fantastic friends here.
Let's do it.
Let's get that done.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all being here so much. First of all, as we like to do now, thank you to everyone who has either lurked or has watched us on a rewatch. We do appreciate you, and we thank you so much for being here. And including the great Eric O'Sullivan, and if you guys are out there, thank you. So with us tonight, thank you so much, Shooter 8323. Really appreciate you being here.
Pew.
Indeedishness, Michael Beacom and Cassandra, happy 36th anniversary to you,
happy anniversary.
Our friend, our good
Wow,
friends.
happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. And they just keep going. It's the Flintstones. Sorry about that.
Happy. Well done. I'm glad you did that. Gwagnar. Thank you,
Gwagnar.
Indeedishness. Joe's Atmosphere. Thank you for being here with us tonight.
Joe, he's in the atmosphere.
I was supposed to say the Emmy nominated Move Along Home. I'm sorry. I forgot. Sorry, buddy. I let you down again.
Be seeing you.
Janet from another planet. Hey. Thank you for being here tonight.
That Interplanet Janet is a galaxy girl?
I've heard that somehow. And I believe it too. I think she is. Chris Persia, thank you, brother, so much for all you do, buddy. We really appreciate you, man.
I love you.
Thank you, Chris.
You for making it worse. For always making it worse. I love that you always.
Thanks for making it worse. Appreciate you. J-Man,
Mickey Bashir was cherry, baby. That was cherry.
I think he had to run, but J-Man, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Adam Outsider, thank you, buddy. D-Bud had to run, but thank you, D-Bud Martin. Of course, big thank you to the great Lord Thoth, our friend. I'm not sure if he had to run that. And, of course, his wonderful better half. Enigmatic Drop Bear, thank you so much for being here, D. Appreciate you.
Love you, E.D.
The Felicianos, Raymond, and Sandra had to run, but shout out to them, of course. King Dolphin TV.
King Dolphin TV.
The lovely Wendy Webb. Shout out to you, my dear, and Jimmy. Hope you're doing well.
Jimmy.
JT Kirk. I think JT Kirk had to run or he's lurking. JT, either way,
He's podcasting us. I love you. Thank you for being here, sweetheart. See you next week.
The great Eric K. Hope get well soon, buddy. Get some rest, man. Great
honey, I hope your headache's better.
Indeed, it's just the Dad Man and the Dad Man clan, I believe, had to run.
Good night.
But thank you to them.
Yeah, Dad Man, yep.
Yeah, Dad Man, hope to see you soon, buddy. Maybe I'll have to do that update one of these days. Nadat and Amanda Bear.
Good night.
Thank you. Apollome's Minion and
the pepperoni.
Pup. Pleasant Valley Picker. Thank you for being here, buddy.
BC.
Hungry Boy, or as we know him tonight, hungry for that Kira sassiness and strut of a hubba.
Also known as Brain Man.
Yes, Brain. What is Brain? Terrell 72, my friend. Always great to see you.
Tyrell, thank you for joining us.
Always appreciate it. Pat ass, buddy. I hope you're doing well, man.
Good night.
Wolfie. Our old buddy Snail Messiah.
What she said.
Yeah. Snail Messiah had to run, but shout out to him. Captain James T. Skywalker. Your Old Toys, thank you for being here with us tonight.
Good
Nice.
night.
It's good to have you here. The great Dave Bob had to run, but hail, great Dave Bob.
I said good night, Dave Bob.
Indeed, he's gone. He's gone. But Captain, Time Lord Spock, good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you. Thank you
Thanks
for joining
being here,
us.
man. Yes, indeed. James Caserta was here. Thank you so much.
Night, James.
Jeff Morris.
Night, Jeff.
Good. Thank you for being here. Steve Mitchum was here. He's not feeling well. Shout out to you if you're hearing this, buddy. Hope you get better.
Good night, Steve and Maddie.
Take care. Yep. Hope everything's better.
Keep Chow, roll tide.
And we have to say hello to Scotty, too. Scotty sent over a dump raid. So thank you so much for doing that.
Oh,
Keely.
yeah. The Sporkers. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Like, you mean Scott with the Sporking.
Sporking News Podcast.
Sporking News Podcast, yes.
It was a dump raid.
Love it. Zachless.
Crap.
Master Maniac Mexico. Thank you for being here tonight. Great buddy. Gil Cardinalson, thank you, buddy, so much for that super sticker, and thanks for popping in.
Night,
Appreciate
Cardi.
you. Minimus was here. I don't thank him. It doesn't matter.
Night, Minimus.
Minimusness. Midnight's Oblivion.
Good night, Midnight's Oblivion.
Have a
Thank you
good
for
one.
being here.
Tim's Talk.
Hey, Tim's Talk.
Pop Culture Curator.
Night, Pop.
And they call him Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete.
And Leslie. Good to see you.
And
Thank
Leslie.
you, buddy.
I have to
Good to
send
see
them a
you there,
gift this week.
Oh, cool. Nice. The chef, Mr. Angel, was here.
Good night.
The great Mr. Tickletron. Thank you so much for those contributions. and for
Good
being
to
here.
see you, sweetheart. Thank you for the laughs. Good night.
Indeed. Boosh McFadden, thank you for popping in.
Whoosh! Thank you for the laughs. Good night.
And last but not least, Mark Lerseth was here. Thank you.
Good night,
Popping.
Mark.
And I think that pretty much wraps it up. That's for everyone that I at least have written down. Thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. We really appreciated it. Can't wait to see you all again. I hope you have a wonderful remainder of your weekend. And let's see here. After these important messages, enjoy our wonderful end credits made by our fantastic first officer. Number one, love you. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. The great Mark D with a C.
Thank you. Yep.
Thanks, boss.
And thank you all night for joining us for Saturday Night Star Trek. And I cannot wait to see you all again. Clobber on, clobberers, and trek on trekkers, and all that stuff. Oh, important shout out to their wonderful friend Jill, who wasn't able to make it, but we love her. She's part of the crew. And big shout out to the great Max Redstone. Thank you, Max. Thank you, everyone. Great night.